Oh my god. There we go. Go live. People are saying she still has time. Should be going live now. Okay. So. Hi. Can anybody hear me?
That was me. Sorry.
That was you? So I must be
Yeah,
live then.
I forgot to mute. Yeah, you
That's
are. I'm sorry.
that's all good.
Pretend nothing happened, real quick.
Nothing happened at all. Hello everybody. We're actually early today. Which is quite exciting. We just spent about 15 minutes talking about criminals, which is always fun outside of Lorne.
Look at that. What is that popping up? Oh, that's you on the
It's
show.
this is a great little animation called Pika Winnie. So little Winnie will
Yeah.
just turn up randomly in the background. I need to like put some music with it as well. But here's my favorite picture right here. Just wanted to share this with the world. Lorne and Shin's discussing. I don't know what you're discussing. You're clearly talking about strawberries with him or
Strawberry.
something. So he wouldn't even know what a
Yeah.
strawberry is probably. Got this
No,
weird fruit today. Don't know. Somebody just gave it to me.
like it's mango examining it like an ape.
Like an exactly. Did you get a chance to watch the trailer tour videos that I put up on my channel recently, Shins?
No, I didn't. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
you
But
should
I will
be.
go back.
No,
Okay.
just look at it because his arms are very ape-like to me because I feel like they're longer than they are proportionally, if that makes sense.
No, they're very short. I mean, if
Mm,
you look at him when he's got his hands down by his side,
mm-hmm.
I have monkey arms. So mine could go right at the top of my knee if I just relax them. His, I think, come up just around the top of the thigh. So he's got very short arms. It's like a
I always thought they
leprechaun.
were long, so that's interesting. People are saying that you're peaking their bisexuality, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just like what? Yes, people love you. Yes, flying dog shit, Dick of Doom, which is my favorite username, is here. Hello, guys. Um, Shins really needs no introduction. Thank you for being here. Actually, I'm really excited to hear your opinion on Lorne's computer agreement. So I'll bring it up on screen.
Yeah, this is actually the first time you and I have ever streamed before. We've talked many times.
Really? Is this really the
Yeah,
first time we've ever streamed? That makes me very sad, actually.
I know. It kind of makes me wonder what's wrong with me. You know,
Makes me wonder what's
seriously.
wrong with you.
But but uh, but we got to know each other. It was really cool over the
Yeah,
last year and a half or so, and
absolutely.
we had some pretty good discussions.
Oh God, yeah.
Um,
We could talk all day.
but what I really, you were actually you and Nick, your streams when you used to do those bingos.
Yeah.
Um, those were my absolute favorites, and they still are. I
Oh,
mean,
what an
I used to
honor.
work out with them, and you guys used to respond to my messages, and it was always cool. You're great, and I miss Nick.
I miss Nick too.
Hope he's okay.
Me too.
So
Um,
yeah,
no, I appreciate that. It's always really weird to me when other creators say like they used to listen to me. It's always like, what do
yeah,
you mean you used to listen to me when you were driving home from work? And it's so bizarre to me. I always just felt like I was just this weirdo sitting here streaming to nobody, but you realize that you actually do impact people's lives in some way, shape, or
yeah.
form.
That's a weird feeling, isn't it? That
It's a
is.
weird feeling, definitely. Um, Hello to everybody in the chat. There's quite a few people here. I don't think I usually have this many viewers because I tend to stream at very odd times. Um, can you see the agreement on your screen, Shins?
Yes, I can. It's a little blurry though. I don't know. Is it blurry for anybody else, or is it just me?
It might be my latency settings, but I don't know if I can change those now I'm live. Let me see.
I'm just curious if it's.
I
Hold
did
on, I got
send you
my.
it separately though, if you wanted to bring that up. I'm gonna pop these into the my mini dump anyway. It's all ready to actually be put in. So
Mhm.
so everybody else, if you can't see on the screen, we're just going to try and read it to you.
You're going to have to do the reading, I think,
Okay,
because
that's cool.
it seems to be blurry to me
It's
and
blurry to
everyone else.
everybody else. Okay, I don't know how to fix that.
That's okay, as long as you can read it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's essentially that's your writing anyway. You transcribed something that was even more illegible.
Correct.
So
I did.
yeah.
Yes, correct. I spent a lot of time transcribing so many of Lorne's documents. It's ridiculous. Hours of my life have been wasted writing up his documents, his prison journal. It's just crazy.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot. Oh, tell me about it. It was a lot of work.
You should be his publisher for Jailed. Wasn't that the name of his book for all of his compilations of
I should publish it.
syndrome?
Yeah, I should publish it, and Lorne would get very, very upset. We need to go over the
Copyright.
YouTube letter as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We should give some background, I guess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What led to this, I guess.
Yes.
I'd be interested to know too. So.
Okay, so essentially, Lorne, when he was talking to Jamie last year and this year, he sort of kept bringing up, he's talking to Stacey to get his computer back. Talking to Stacey to get his computer back. He's going to get his computer back. And we were all just like, nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. Lorne, you're not getting your computer back at all. And then it came to this year, and Lorne actually got his computer back. He had to go to Bangor, I believe, and he had to pick it up. I will tell you the funniest part was I think he sent a picture to Jamie where it showed 132 downloads updating because, their computer is like 5-6 years old, easy. But it was quite funny.
So they actually had his physical computer.
They had his physical
kept
computer
that from him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to get a new updated model or whatever. Okay.
No, he was going to. We were looking at, I think he was looking at going to one of those layaway places where you pay like $50 a week or something to that effect.
Or rent a center or something.
Yeah, rent a center. I think that's actually what it was. And he was looking at a computer, and if he'd just paid it outright, he would have saved like $300 or $400. But that's Lorne. So essentially, he got his computer back. He got straight onto eBay. When Lorne got his computer back, that's essentially when the Jamie stuff just ended anyway, because there was a lot of push about speaking to his probation officer, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the eBay stuff happened. Lorne called. I can't remember how many days later, but he called from a different number because he'd obviously, he said in the call, they got emailed. So he knew within the day. And essentially he called and then he bitched about the eBay thing and then said, Stacey is not allowing him on the computer anymore. But of course, Lorne...
That's the current status right now, as far as we know. So what we have here was a very temporary situation.
He had his computer back for less, I think just over a week.
He's unbelievable. I love that.
I believe. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Mugs.
Hey.
Mugs, thank you for the beautiful artwork again. Wow, there's a lot of people here. This is pretty cool. So I guess I'll get started. So obviously Lorne had to sign another document. And, of course, Lorne was dumb enough to send it to Jamie. It was Reborn's Jamie, and he's given me permission to release it. So thank you very, very much, Reborn. Bar Harbour, Tiffany. There you go. So I guess part one, I'm really sorry. I don't know why it's blurry, and I don't know how to fix it. But, again, I'll read it, and you guys can read it yourselves when I put it into the dump.
Yeah, I can barely make out. I can make out shadows. No, I can make out. Like when you read something, if you could just actually say what the number is that you're reading.
Sure. If you want to bring up your version as well, that might help.
Oh, that's true. I got that.
If you bring that up, and then I'll just say what I'm on to.
I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, there you go, Steve.
Oh, you know what? I hesitate to do anything on Skype. I might lose you.
I'm still screen sharing, though. You do know that. I'm still screen sharing on Skype.
Yeah, but I can't get it magnified. My beady little eyes, I can't see it. So, but that's okay. I mean, I read it before.
Okay, cool.
I read it a couple times actually. But it's interesting because apparently, I guess he's being rewarded by getting his
computer back.
Yeah.
For what?
I couldn't believe it. I think that was the consensus of the people involved at the time. I could not believe, knowing that they were so suspicious of Jamie, knowing that they were fully aware of all the crap going on, that they would give him his computer back. But maybe they gave it back to him because they were hoping he was going to fuck up, which he did with the eBay stuff. I didn't know that when you put your first name and your last name in, they're going to make a username with your name, because his username was like Low Arms and then 18, because he's an idiot. He fucked it up within the week. You've got to love that. I mean, granted, we knew about the eBay thing.
Yeah, and you know, I think that, you know, he was sober for, I would guess, the entire year of 2020, or maybe. So this is kind of his reward for it, I guess. And also, wasn't he making threats to, you know, get a lawyer and get his conditions modified?
Yes, Joey uploaded a video with that document. I remember the actual call. Lorne had this, like, a 45-minute call with a lawyer, his probation officer. They essentially said, yeah, no, we're not changing anything. And when Lorne called Jamie that day, he was very despondent, as I recall. It didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Yeah. So again, you give him some rope and he'll hang himself. And this is what happened.
As Tiffany would tell me, Lorne's going to fuck it up himself, and that's correct. Lorne absolutely is going to fuck it up. I don't realize there's so many. Supposed to be Low Armstrong, yeah. If it's in the mini doc dump, of course, Lorne Identity. I appreciate you doing something with the documents, because absolutely, go for it. So let's get this started, because I feel like me and Shins are just going to chat like the entire time. You've probably got. It's only 9:30 for me in the morning. And you've probably got stuff to do, you know, this evening. So
no, hey, you know, we'll spend as much time as we need, so don't worry about that.
You sweet man. Okay, number 1, you agree to pay any costs of monitoring software as directed. You must enroll in an auto payment system. It gives his case number. You agree to not attempt to remove, disable, or circumvent any part of monitoring software installed.
Are you on 2 right now?
I'm on 2. Okay. Next one is 3. You shall not possess or let another individual possess an unmonitored computer in your home. So I wonder if this also stands for, like, smartphones. I think that might be part of the definition of what a computer is. Oh, it comes up later, actually.
What is that term? What's the term they use? I can't really read it.
What do you mean?
Computer-based system or whatever it was. Yeah, I think that's mainly, you know, if he gets a roommate, the roommate can't just put a computer in there he could use. You know,
makes sense.
Imagine getting a roommate.
Well, he almost did. He almost got a hooker for a roommate, but she was so disgusted at the house, and Lorne was.
Oh my God, that's a hell of a story. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You got to share that.
Okay, well, I think Reborn's recently revealed. He hasn't played it yet, but I think he's revealed it. So essentially, Roy was hanging out with some chick in a scungy motel, and they were possibly thinking about coming to move into the container. Just to make a point, Lorne put a wood stove in that container. Obviously, you had to put the piping out. There was like a good 2 inches around the piping, which you could see the outside, just saying. So it wasn't exactly the most insulated. So this chick, who we're pretty sure was a hooker, turned up. Now, Lorne was supposed to call when she turned up, but he called after the fact. And he was very angry. Tiff, do you remember this?
That is hilarious.
She went over to... Sure, sorry.
Just one person, not her pimp with her?
I think she was an independent.
Oh my.
Yeah, she went over to the shed, had a look. She went over to the chicken hutch and apparently was asking if that was someplace she could sleep. Because to be fair, Lorne does have a really nice chicken hutch. It's quite nice. It's properly, it's like to me it looks like the kind of little shed that I had as a kid, like a little play hut. So it's actually quite nice. I think she was like, can I move in here? Essentially, she was dismissive, and you know how Lorne would feel that she should be kissing his penis, essentially. And she then accused Lorne of stalking her, and he got yes, Tiffany. She said, something to the effect of, I know you've been following me. Lorne was livid, very offended. It was fascinating.
That sounds like
that's
it. He glommed onto her, and I assume he followed around after she rejected the container apartment.
Yeah,
she looked at.
I like that Mug said he was upset that the female was stuck up because she didn't want to get locked in a shed/trailer. Yeah, the chickens do live better than Lorne, definitely. So yes, so if she had moved in, she would have had to have declared to his probation, I assume. I mean,
yeah.
Or she just would be completely... Because Lorne would talk about how Jamie was allowed to... could do her shows from his house, but based on line 3, her computer would have had to have been monitored as well.
Right.
So he cannot have an unmonitored computer. So she would have had to have had a computer monitored by probation. That's a hell of an ask, don't you think?
Well,
hey, babe.
If you think about it, that's actually, that would be, I always think about what would it be like for a woman who Lorne finally obtained or whatever. What kind of life would they have? Essentially, they'd be under these same conditions. So she couldn't have her own computer in there, maybe not have her own smartphone. I mean, this that's a lot going against you to find somebody, man. But
I know, right?
That's and the monitoring fee thing, the first one. Did he fall behind on a bill the first time this happened?
Yeah, he did. He tells all sorts of stories about it. I didn't pay. I did pay. He can't keep a story straight.
Yeah, well, he said he actually said one of the stories that he didn't keep straight was he said the reason why his computer was taken away is because of that fee. When in fact we know that's not the case.
We know
it was still outstanding. Yeah, and then he paid it. And they still wouldn't give it back to him. That's hilarious.
It's beautiful. I love it. You shall not. Number 4. You shall not use any other computer other than what you've been authorized to use. This includes, but is not limited to, computers at other businesses, private homes, libraries, schools, cyber cafes. Lorne really didn't understand the concept of third party, in my opinion. He had permission from probation for his aunt to look for jobs, I believe, online. But his aunt was doing it all for him anyway, because he's a 50-year-old loser. And no insulting to 50-year-olds, but at 50 you'd think you'd be able to find your own job. Lorne would often say things like, "It's not third party if I can't tell them not to send it to me. It's not my fault if they send it to me." Like if people sent him things that he would then try to use to berate Jamie or whatever. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah, he's essentially, he's not supposed to use anything other than his own personal laptop, but he was definitely, and then it's like I say, there was no Cornville Mafia. I think Tony or Roy possibly got online and looked at something, but once upon a time, but they're not sitting listening to streams. Lorne was the source. Lorne was the one who would go at Mama Gwen's. When I was trolling Lorne, he sent me a bunch of screenshots from a Lorne Identity stream. Yeah, a lot of things that said things like Emma is Winnie, they're the same person. He completely glossed over that. I don't remember what specifically. There was a specific thing he said. It was, that person said, "Honey, that's what we call each other." He was basically accusing Jamie of already like telling people, and it's like, Lorne, you call everyone honey. And I've got this in text with him saying, "You called the frickin' decoy honey. Hi, honey." Sorry, so Lorne's the one who usually gets online.
So that's over at Mama Gwen's house, right?
Yes. Oh.
And I remember the story where he was talking about how he tried to make it something that he's a valuable thing he's sharing with, I think it was Tiffany. Okay, I'm going to tell you a secret now. Okay. I would stand over Roy or whatever, and I'd tell him where to go.
Yeah. And that's still, you can't do that, Lorne. Yeah.
That's the definition of third-party use. Exactly.
Tiffany's asked specifically, can you mention that he cried with the lawyer and probation during their call? That is critical, yes. He cried. Obviously, he didn't... He didn't give us a lot of information about the discussion, but it was clearly Lorne's. I reckon that they were pushing the Jamie thing. Mm-hmm. They were essentially saying, we know she's fake, you know she's fake, you're still talking to online people, Lorne. You are not getting off probation.
Well, yeah, that's not even an issue. I mean, he shouldn't even be talking about modifying his conditions, other than this computer thing, which is a separate thing. It's kind of a small part of it. Mm-hmm. You know, again, putting aside the fact that he tried to modify his conditions at his revocation hearing.
Oh, that's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people are concerned that he might try to get the court to get him off of the registry.
It's not
what he'll try to do is he'll try to modify his conditions to, at the worst, get himself off supervised probation, which is now with what used to be federal parole. He's on parole. They don't have, they don't have parole anymore since '82. So, now he is essentially, he can go in there and maybe get an unsupervised probation. Those kinds of modifications, but to actually get him off of the registry would take an act of Congress, and also a trial and an exoneration. I mean, he will always be on that registry, so he can't go in and ask the court for an order to get him off the registry. At least as far as I understand it. No, I'm not bouncing anything up Egbert at all.
Edgar, be nice.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm used to it.
Unsupervised Lorne would be a nightmare, Blue Boy. I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely needs to be monitored his entire life.
He does. He's a dangerous man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who feel that he should be civilly committed. He's a danger to himself and others. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of evidence to support that. So I think at some point they could do, what they did to Schumacher with him. If he keeps it up. But I think if he goes back to drinking, that will be the last straw. I think they're happy right now that he's not drinking. At least that.
Well, based on his beer belly from the videos from the 10 Mile Yard sale, thank you to the people who got good footage of him and the stuff. It was fantastic. Thank you so much. I don't know. I get the impression after Jamie, he might have started again. If he's been catfished now, who knows?
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, they give him a little, something, to keep his hopes up, do the right thing, keep not drinking, whatever. So they give him this computer privilege, mm-hmm. And you got to remember when you're on federal probation, supervised probation, you have no constitutional rights. There are no rights. Everything that you're given is a privilege, including everything: free speech, search and seizure. He's pretty much
he's got no rights.
Waived almost at this point.
I would have rather stayed in prison for 2 more years, and then.
But like Tiffany says, give Lorne an inch, and he'll fuck it up.
Yeah, Tiffany would say that. Yep. That's beautiful. Can you...
But this document, what it does is it really puts him on a tight leash. And half these conditions are really kind of irrelevant because he couldn't do them anyway.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get down to the technical bits and pieces.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
You're only permitted to use authorized computers that are compatible with the software used by the monitoring system. You are required to make any directed modifications of your computer system. So I assume things like that he'd have, some of the settings and stuff. You shall not use or own any device which allows internet access other than authorized by the supervising officer. This includes...
That's the phone that you're talking about.
No, this includes mobile telephones, tablets, gaming consoles, Blu-ray players, and smart TVs. I believe that's what got David Rabbi K. My goodness, Rabbi David K. in trouble a couple of years ago because we had a Blu-ray player. I think Joey and I did a video or something on it. Yeah.
So this means that Lorne can't join any streaming, obviously, Netflix,
nope,
things like that.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, without their approval.
Correct.
He could, but
yeah.
Okay.
He had approval to be on eBay. because the whole point of him getting his computer back that he was pushing was for his business to make money, you know, because Lorne hasn't had a job except for some under the table job with a woman. You shall not, number 7, you shall not use or own any computer related hardware unless it's approved. All repairs to your authorized computer must be pre-approved by your supervising officer. They must be done by an authorized retailer.
I just imagine him doing it.
Yeah.
I just imagine him trying to fix his computer like his furnace.
Yeah.
It's like irrelevant probation. You don't have to mention that. He has no...
Agreed. He's not going to be able to.
But they got to tie him up. So.
Yeah. You shall not access any internet service provider account or other online service using someone else's account, name, designation, or alias. And you shall not utilize any service which conceals or spoofs your internet protocol address or telephone number unless approved. So Lorne's not allowed to use a VPN, right?
Right. Definitely not. Yeah. That probably runs counter to the software they have.
That makes sense.
Can't get in there.
Number 11, I just can't read. If somebody else can read it on the document, please let me know. Number 12, you may only, and I think it's the word access, email accounts, chat rooms, instant messaging services, and other cyber-related environments which allow for user integration via accounts pre-approved. So any accounts Lorne has online, his eBay account and stuff, had to be pre-approved by his probation officer.
Also, I think his email account, he has to use Lorne A 2014.
Oh my God.
Because otherwise he'd be an alias online. I think he'd have to use the same one. That's in his all of his court captions too.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
That's insane. No, conscious type person. Lorne got his computer back. Within the week he was trolled and he got his computer taken away. I mean, he could have it back now, but I doubt it. Is that email still active? Lorne would have had to have created a brand new one. I don't even know how he would have done it. Jamie had an email address for him, Main Drives Truck, which I thought was quite funny. So Lorne sent stuff there, but he must have created a brand new email address. I don't even know how he would have done that, to be honest.
That's a violation of this agreement. Jamie doing that for him. But the agreement wasn't in place at that point, so.
Well, that's interesting to know. I didn't know that. Well, there's audio of Lorne using their email address, you know, to have stuff sent to. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You may only access email accounts, including webmail accounts, via approved protocols and approved email clients. Number 14, you may establish a website via an approved hosting service in your home with the approval of the supervising officer. If the site is hosted by a remote hosting service, you may remotely access the site's server to perform activities related to the site. You may not use the service and or the hosting company's internet connection to engage in personal internet activities or to store data. So that one's... Lorne's not... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine Lorne... It would be great if he did, though. Starting its own webpage.
We'd be awesome. Found in a heartbeat. We actually, the reason he was found on eBay was, well, I can't remember. I remember going onto Craigslist and looking in his local area for anything that he possibly was selling. It was another community member who found him on on eBay. They don't want their name to be known, I don't think. But they found him and it was just insane. It was insane what he was asking. It was anyway, that's a whole separate story.
Was he selling something? Or was this part of his auction?
It was auction. So he tried to sell a leather jacket, which unfortunately I didn't get the listing before it was expired, before he took his stuff down. Beanie Babies and some gold coins. He bought a gold coin from somebody. So he made one purchase, but that's it. He never sold anything as far as I'm aware. He could, who knows, he might be back, guys. But, yeah, I don't know. Number 15, this is obviously the important one. You shall not have another individual access the internet. I couldn't read the next word. I wonder what that could have been. Access the internet and or the internet on your behalf for any purpose without permission of the supervising officer. This includes, but is not limited to, uploading, downloading internet content, accessing your email account, and sending, receiving email. So that's obviously Roy. Well, when Roy does, I'm pretty sure Roy, certainly in 2020, Roy had no involvement with any of that, personally. He was busy. I found Lorne's OnlyFans.
Yeah. Mm.
The Nazi coin. The Nazi coin. It wasn't that one, but he bought a coin.
Did he autograph things?
I don't think so. I'm kind of disappointed he had no Beanie Babies out at the 10 Mile yard sale. I would have totally bought one, but Lorne would have insisted on a very high price. He literally
in the premium room. Yeah, you have to go. That's by reservation only if you want to buy any.
Right.
Beanie Baby.
Sure. Yeah.
Which, by the way, and I've said this before, having a sex offender selling children's toys has got to set off some alarms. So.
To me, the Beanie Babies are the perfect, is it microcosm? I can't think of the right word. Showing how microcosm. How Lorne does not understand how things work. Beanie Babies were an investment 20 years ago when there was a huge people really wanted them. There were limited runs in different countries. I mean, there were people going to like England just to purchase certain ones that were there.
Yep.
20 years ago, it was a buyer's market for that.
Yeah,
I literally have a friend who went down into their basement and pulled up every single beer Lorne had on his eBay. And he was trying to sell them for thousands. Literally every single one she had. So they're not. And he would use the 20-year-old magazines to say, oh, this was worth $5,000 20 years ago. It must be worth $10,000 now.
Well, did Mama Gwen actually do some appraising for him online?
She did, yeah.
And if that's the case, because as soon as this came out, my daughter has hundreds of them. First of all, I bought so many for her, including the ones from McDonald's. But I was just curious: are these things worth anything? I had no idea.
No.
I think I came across the same website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if they are extremely rare, if they've got some misprint, a really really hardcore Beanie Baby addict would probably pay money for it. But you've got to find that person. You've got to have that item.
Value, but with cigarette smoke all over it.
No,
that's for sure. But what happened is I came across this website and it showed these astronomical prices for these things, which is ridiculous. And I thought, this can't be real. It must have been the same one that Mama Gwen found, and that really got Lorne excited.
I would agree
and
with
then
that.
did he go out and purchase more after that? Didn't he keep?
Yeah, I think he had at least 3 separate purchases. I know he drove at least an hour one way and an hour back for one set. And Lorne was trying to tell Jamie that, these are clearly worth something because the woman has been a Beanie Baby seller for years. So she's helping me out by, that was it. That was what he said. He found all these Beanie Babies supposedly worth $5,000 and he would be told by Jamie, Lorne, why would this woman who knows the value of Beanie Babies just give away $5,000 Beanie Babies to you? Oh, she's nice. No, Lorne. They clearly have no value then. If she cannot make money on them, they have no value, Lorne. Sorry, it's.
No, I totally agree. I mean, you would think that person would do their due diligence before they hand over something to a guy like that. And if they're going to be nice, why waste niceness on him?
Exactly. He just thinks, he thinks, I don't know what the word is for it. He really thinks people are kinder to him than they actually are. It's just basic interactions with people and he gets quite, they're just a nice person. It's just ridiculous anyway. Sorry. Just going on tangents, guys. Sorry about this.
She must have been so happy to unload those things.
Oh, yeah. She had about 400, I think. I think they were sold for about $1 a piece. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Where
does he keep them?
He keeps them in tubs. Sorry. He keeps them in tubs.
Well, I mean, where are these tubs? In his shed? Or
probably in his spare bedroom. But his
master bedroom. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I question if Lorne is developmentally disabled. I think he's just he's the epitome of arrested development, essentially, and not the content creator, not the TV show, the actual concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He thinks he's smarter than everybody
He's
else.
got a little. He has the ability to, see his way through the world if he wanted to. He just makes the wrong decisions every step of the way.
Yep, sure does. I mean, anybody else would have dumped their robot speaking girlfriend. Anybody else?
Not me. She's hot. No way.
Shut up, Lorne. Fuck off upstairs. Everybody, if you haven't, please make sure you go to Reborn's channel and listen to his Sing the Dance series, especially the last one, where Lorne freaks out about a cooking lesson and accuses Jamie of cheating on him. There is a specific skill in getting Lorne to yell when he's sober, and Reborn has it, and it's beautiful. So please, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Every Sunday, Reborn will be releasing a new song.
His rage was epic. I mean,
yo, chain it up!
Yeah. His voice was higher because you could tell his diaphragm and his chest must have been squeezing, and he was just getting air out of that little tube of a hole he has, It was just high pitched. You could tell there were veins that were just bursting out of his, out of his head. But that was, I think you guys describe it as top 5. Yeah. I would put it in my top 5 too.
Fuck yeah. It is just something. It's beautiful. Screaming naked, exactly. Yeah, joke it. Reborn's been a Lorneographer for a very long time. He knows exactly what to do. Alrighty, next one we've just talked about the third party. You shall not. I mean, these aren't that terribly interesting, guys. I do apologize, but we do want to go over the YouTube letter as well. You shall not download, possess, or install copyrighted material. Number 17, you shall not utilize any application which permits file sharing. Which
like that LimeWire thing, and you remember those?
I remember those. Downloading, you'd spend like an hour downloading a song, thinking it was like a Pink. Okay, I was a Pink fan. Pink
just
song.
Just get a sample of it. Yeah.
And it would be some Bollywood music, and you're like, what the hell?
Right.
Yeah. Emulax, I think, as Dustin would say. So that's interesting for someone who's convicted of a child-related crime. Mm-hmm. Don't want him getting file sharing. You shall not sell, purchase, or offer to sell, purchase any item via the internet without pre-approval of the supervising officers. This includes, but is not limited to, selling items. I saw someone claim that Lorne didn't have permission, and I'm not sure where that claim came from. They were well aware that he was selling stuff because that was the whole point of him getting his computer back.
Requiring their pre-approval of what he's selling, though.
I don't know if it's specific items or it's just simply if you want to sell on eBay, you have to let us know first.
Oh, I see. Depending on the... Yeah, okay. It'd be great to put his duffel bags back up there.
I've still got one. He gave his duffel bags to Emma. And Emma gave me one, and I still have it, and I don't know why. I still have it. I've had it for like 2 years.
Is it that mesh one?
It's the mesh one, yeah. I keep trying to get rid of it by like participating in like the Heisenberg thing, and no one wants it. It's really funny to me. Nobody wants it, and that's kind of like, it makes me feel like I should probably just throw it out, but I feel like it's a piece of history.
Do you remember his prison journal where those 2 roommates used to make out with a duffel bag or something?
A laundry bag over their lips, which just tells me that they totally knew that it would make him uncomfortable, and they found it funny. Because if they were doing it legit, they would not have put a laundry bag over their mouths. Just saying.
Yeah.
They were fucking with him.
Consider the source on all of that,
He's the source.
Don't you remember Jean-Claude Van Damme fight he had in the, that
we threw someone 20 feet.
threw through the window, whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Yes.
And I hit him with a left, and he remembers everything,
Yeah, hit him with the left.
Came down,
yeah.
Liver shot. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. I didn't want to have to do it, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
And everybody gave me a wide berth after that.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you, Lord.
What was it Ramona said? Nobody was scared of you in jail, Lorne.
Right.
Yes, the prison journal, if you guys haven't read it or heard the wonderful renditions from many members of this community, it's on Clobber's channel, and it has a link to it. Again, all transcribed for you as well. That's probably about several hours of my life just in that document alone. Okay. Yes, Lorne likes to. You have to always remembering the source is important. I agree with that. You shall not.
But you can. Yeah, I think you could pick out some certain details that you think that ring true, though.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
Like take the Molly situation. You know, that whole story was all bullshit, but the stuff you can pull out of it is that he went up to see a minor.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think she had any clue he was coming, because how could you be planning to meet? If I'm planning to meet
I
someone,
totally agree.
you and I both know I'm going to be at the airport at this date at this time. I'm not going to. Yeah, I don't believe she had any concept he was coming. I don't even necessarily believe Tony.
Bring my drunk fat
Tony
friend
had,
for your friend. You know.
Yeah, I don't
who
even
knows?
believe Tony had any
We
clue.
could have a whole stream about that.
Oh, we probably could. We probably could. I just think about Tony's not as dumb as Lorne. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. You shall not download, possess, or install any application which allows for circumvention of copyright protection measures. Number 20, you shall not view, access, possess, and or download any pornography involving minors or pornography depicting minors, i.e. anime. Lorne can't even download anime.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. If you...
At first, when I read this, I thought, whoa, just child porn? I mean, everybody's restricted from that. I mean, what the hell?
Why would you have to...
The next one made me feel better, so.
It's kind of crazy to me that they even had to put that in here. It's a crime to possess child porn. It's like you have to...
Might as well put, do not rape a child. Do not kill anyone.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. If you're participating in sex offender treatment, per your sex offender treatment contract... Oh, I've got a spelling mistake there.
This is the one I like.
Okay. You are not permitted to view, access, possess, or download any sexually explicit or pornographic material, i.e. images or writings. This includes material from, quote, nudist websites.
National Geographic, things like that.
True.
What is a nudist website? I mean, is that a thing? Are there places that...
You've got Google there, Shin. Have a look.
Well, you're damn right I am, since we're out of here. But I just wonder, is that like a lifestyle thing? Website?
Probably.
Where it's not really concentrated on the genitals or
I don't think it would. I think if anything,
this is how we keep bees when we're naked, things like that.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's just websites that advertise a nudist, like not colony, that's not the word, a nudist retreat,
right.
And they probably just show the backs of people, maybe a bit of buttocks.
Family. There's a family of nudists here. Here we go. There's nothing sexual, but the Lord couldn't. No, I don't think I could get past it either. But anyway.
No, keep talking, please. I just need 1 second if you can entertain the crowd.
Oh, also I'm wondering if he's limited to PG-13 movies now. Are you there? Are you there?
Hello, I'm back. Thank you.
You would never leave us.
I would never leave you guys. Let me just check the chat real quick. Peter, does anyone know if Lorne has completed rape class? He's still in... As far as I know, he's still in rape class. He's been in rape class since 2013. He was doing it via conference call last year, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a phone. That wouldn't be a Zoom or anything like that.
No, he just had to dial into like a conference call. That's what I recall.
And he still couldn't pass it in that situation.
No.
Think about it.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah. You shall abide by all website terms of service. If you're participating in sex offender treatment, you are not permitted to access or view any social media or account which allows access to anyone under the age of 18. Now, I know Facebook, you're not sexual RSOs are not allowed to have an account. But I find that interesting. You're not permitted to view or access any social media service which allows access to anyone under the age of 18. So technically, he shouldn't even be able to go on YouTube right? Because YouTube, you can have an account at 14, 13? What's the
Yeah,
minimum
I guess so.
age for a YouTube account, guys?
I'm not sure, but maybe somebody in the chat knows. But this also prevents him from starting another MySpace type of account where he just has children as friends. This is funny. That's why they probably put that in here. I mean, 90% of his friends on MySpace were kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Muggs has made a point. Yeah, the others that could use computers were there on Zoom. Lorne was one of the only guys who had to use his phone still for those meetings. I think when he got his computer back, one of the last calls he made to Jamie, he talked about how Stacey was calling him. We think possibly it was on Zoom or something to that effect, but we don't know for sure. Yeah, so Lorne's not allowed on any social media site that allows access to under 18-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the minimum age for having an eBay account is. You shall not engage in spamming or email bombing. And number 24,
eBay is not a social media account.
That's true. But you still have contact with people. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Email bombing, is that even a thing anymore? I vaguely recall that occurring.
You could send out septic advice.
Lorne made freaking... I'll see if Rebon's got the picture and can share it next time he streams. Lorne had made like business cards. B&B Septic and Construction. He didn't even have an account. He didn't even have anything legally set up. Yeah. Lorne's all under the table though, right? Why would he bother? You should not purchase, download, or install any antivirus, anti-spyware firewall, or internet security application without pre-approval. That all makes sense. How much more have I got here? He's not allowed to use password protection or encryption unless approved. He's not allowed to view, possess, or compose any material that describes or promotes the unauthorized alteration of software applications or circumvention of copyright protection.
So they really tied him down. You know he was going to do that.
Oh, too. Absolutely. Yeah, half of these aren't even applicable, really. You shall not view, possess, or compose any material that promotes the unauthorized access to computer systems. This includes, but is not limited to, spoofing, websites, how to launch DDoS attacks, Lorne's not
that's him. That's our boy. We got to stop him.
Exactly. He shall not purchase, download, possess, or install freeware, shareware, or software applications whose primary purpose is to scan and detect vulnerabilities in computer networks. Very specific.
Well, Lorne is the king of loopholes. You got to remember.
He really is. So, yes, you're right, Shins.
So this pretty much ties up everything and more than they needed. So, but it actually has to say you cannot stand over Roy's shoulder and tell him what to do on the internet. It should say that.
Yeah. Boo and Bear Construction. Boo Bear Construction, guys. Yeah. That were the nicknames. Boo and Bear Construction. That was going to be Lorne's business name. B&B, but it would stand for Boo and Bear. Yeah, because that was their nicknames.
Bears as in drinking beer or the bear?
Sorry, a bear. I'm sorry, I'll speak American for that.
No, it's okay. Okay, so what's the significance of that? Why do you pick those names?
Because they were the nicknames, because everything he does has to be related back to, it's a show of love, right?
Oh, okay.
He had business cards, yeah.
You guys call each other bear. Okay, got it. Okay.
That's so cute. I called him, I think it started with Bear, and he called her Boo. Yeah, what is he, 5? God. Anyway.
That was actually my nickname when I was a little kid.
Was it? Which one?
Boo, yeah.
Aww.
Boo.
That's a bit cute.
It hurts me to see this now. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Booze was Jamie's nickname, though, so at least it was a pretty girl. You shall not use anything that wipes your drives unless approved. You shall not install any other computer internet monitoring application or a detection application unless approved. This next one I like. You shall log on to your authorized computer using your assigned username. So you can, it's only meant to, so you can't just, I don't know. I just find that interesting.
In case there's somebody else with an account on there, I guess. I'm assuming. I don't really. This is not really my strength.
It's okay.
Cybersecurity bullshit like this. But half these things, I don't even know how to do. I'm assuming he doesn't know how to do.
No way. Yeah, Lorne's not any other people might be, but certainly not Lorne. He's no computer expert. He still thinks that when he even said it in the chef recall. Why did you accept to see his webcam? Because I think in the Yahoo days, if somebody wanted to send you their webcam, you had to accept it.
Yeah.
He still thinks that that's a thing. Why did you accept to view their webcam? Why didn't you turn off their webcam? Lorne, that's not how it works anymore. It's just he's very ignorant when it comes to computer stuff, and he's still thinking from 2007, essentially.
Yeah. Well, his computer back. I would imagine his computer is back from 2007 too. So.
Hey, it's possible. It wouldn't surprise me.
Red better.
You shall log off or shut down any monitored computer system when not in use. And you must close any application when non-active use. I recall that was something that probation had brought up, that he would have YouTube up in the background while he was doing other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That he was spending too much time on it, and he was doing surveys at the same time and whatnot. But he always said he had it minimized. Yeah.
You shall not change or attempt to change, circumvent or disable any restrictions and or settings established by the probation officer. You shall not possess or use removable media. I love how they had to lay it out for Lorne here. CDRs, DVDs, or USB flash drives configured with bootable operating systems. And you shall not change, reinstall, or upgrade the current computer operating system. This includes, but is not limited to, utilizing the system restore or reset function available. So he can't just wipe it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Any computer within your residence, owned and or used by you, is subject to searches by the probation office.
See, that's what I mean. I mean, if a woman, he happened to hook up with a woman, she would be subject. Her computer would be subject to be searched too.
And he was telling Jamie that wasn't the case. Granted, that was before he got this document, but he was telling Jamie that because she was basically saying, "Well, I can't work if I'm not going to be monitored by probation. They're not going to do that, honey. It's just me." I love number 39. Oh, have you got something to say?
What's 39?
39 is, you shall notify all parties who reside in your residence of these restrictions. You shall further inform any individual who may access your monitored computer that all information contained on the computer is subject to monitoring and searches.
So it's essentially, I'm trying to figure out how they get around to searching a third party's computer in his place. Well, they're essentially consenting by knowing what the conditions are and bringing the computer in there anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you shall not remove, tamper, or destroy any hardware on your monitored computer without the pre-approval. And this was signed the 26th of January. He had his computer gone by
this year?
End of
this year, I didn't.
This year, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And the reason why it's not an order is because this is all within the discretion of probation. You know, his original conditions say he can go onto the computer with certain monitoring programs, but all under the supervision and approval of probation. And this is part of it. And he fucked it up. I mean, can we talk about that? I'm kind of like, I have some gaps here in trying to figure out how he lost his computer rights. Was
Definitely
it the eBay
Ramona.
thing?
Oh, the eBay thing. He didn't give much information. He wasn't that forthcoming at this time, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, Tiff, do you remember what he said? It was something like, all he really said was, "Yeah, TC told me I can't use it anymore." Is really all we got from him. But I would say clearly, because the second he got onto eBay, we found him. He was found.
Yeah, so we don't have a definitive answer for that.
No, we don't.
Right.
And maybe the new catfish, if there is one, we'll be able to find that out.
I have a feeling maybe they caught some recent phone calls or something.
Well, they were.
Um,
Lorne said that people emailed his probation officer the same day as the Justine calls were released, so they knew about it, and it was on Temple of TCAP, and I'm pretty sure they monitor that too. So, yeah,
they just had to say, you know what, enough of this shit. Seriously.
like, yeah.
But really, I mean, the only way to control him is to take away his phone. They really
Well,
want to do that.
we think they did, but I mean, he could have it back because he had a computer, Wi-Fi installed. Oh no, was it Wi-Fi or fiber? He got internet access essentially, obviously to use the computer.
Right.
So I mean, it's possible they said, well, and he had to have a home phone because he was going to get a phone number so that he could have for his business. Of course, that's a stupid idea, Lorne, because anytime, if someone found you, they'd have your phone number. But anyway, so maybe they said, well, you've got a landline now. You don't need
That's it. That's
your cell phone.
I was going to say that would be the next step.
I mean, I think that happened
payphone.
for at least a limited amount of time. It's possible he's got a new phone now, and he's talking to somebody else. But I mean, probation's pretty stupid if they're not monitoring everything now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I can say. If the guy's been trolled for 5 years, well, no, since 2016, almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless they force it, he's not going to change. He's still. I remember him telling me things like, these people who write to me, he's so desperate to believe that they're writing him because they actually care, and that they actually mean things like, oh, I don't think you're a bad person, Lorne. I think you're a good person. He believes these people actually. He's so desperate. It's insane.
I'm surprised probation doesn't monitor his mail too. I mean, he sent a lot of he sent a few outgoing things in the past that were definitely violations. But God, it's almost like they're putting an electric fence around him, preventing anything from going inside or out.
Muggs pointed out, and he obviously recalls better than I do, they gave him shit for being so findable because he did specifically reference that his username was Low Armstrong, whatever, and believed that he did something that attracted or outed him. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope there's new catfish. I'm praying to God. Me too. Because if Lorne is still doing the same stupid shit, my God, I can't wait to hear those calls. I hope
at least there's somebody in place that can tell us when he gets violated again, at least.
Well, I know people who check Pacer like every day for him, and I check his I check the main prisoner probation search function every week to see if he's been, and that shows if he's in jail or prison or whatever. So I thought we could move on to the wonderful YouTube letter. I've got that up on screen. It's in the mini dump in the description, Shins, if you wanted to bring it up yourself.
Hang on a sec.
Sure.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'll find it. Give me a second. There we go.
That's also been Zio.
This is going to take a while to figure out. I'm gonna again rely on your eyes.
That's okay. So I love the YouTube letter because I remember I was encouraging Lorne to write it, and I even offered to email it for him with the knowledge that would technically be third party and could be a violation. But he was smart. He goes, "No, I've already got the address." He actually wrote the physical address of YouTube and sent it there. And again, I like to think that it's on the bulletin board in like the staff room, something like that. They just laugh.
I remember we discussed this. I was concerned that this might go somewhere, or he might have an. This is before he wrote the thing. That he might, and I'm assuming that he was going to get some help writing it. That he might have a bullying claim, and then suddenly there'd be the end of all of us. That's what I was concerned about. But after reading this, my worries were for naught. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't think I even had any input into the letter. This is all Lorne. Whew, okay. I would love to hear Winnie make a comment. God. Yeah. Lorne was never, as far as he know, Winnie and Emma and everybody were completely real. They all just stopped talking to him. So that character is still available to come back. And Lorne would talk to her, I'm sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Even when he was on the tail end of losing Tiffany, he was talking about Winnie coming up to marry him. I mean, I don't know how that works, but
Lorne told Jamie that Winnie was his best relationship.
oh my God, that is so sad.
DNA, he literally saw on, I mean, Emma was really good at, claiming it was hacked, and she was always hacked, and he would forgive her anything. It's me, Winnie. And he saw that screenshot that clearly said, "I can't believe he doesn't know that Emma is Winnie." He saw that, but he's an idiot. My name is Lorne Armstrong. Since 2012, that I know of, videos of bullying, works of catfishing, threats, disgusting videos made, and complete obsession, good and bad. No, Lorne, good and bad. The fact that he wrote that is just... He thinks obsession... Yeah, he thinks obsession can be good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, what do you say for that? Videos of bullying. Can't quite read it.
Yep.
Disgusting. He always uses that adjective, disgusting.
Disgusting.
Made of me. He gets right into it. He doesn't talk about, hey, I had a problem a few years ago, and got national attention. And everybody seems to be on top of it now, and it's making my life a living hell. Something like that would have worked, but he gets right into it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're not even allowed to make video after video of person. There's a lot of lolcows I follow, and the reaction channels that just are completely obsessed with them, but they're still not taken down. So, good and bad, but mostly bad, have been made toward and about me on YouTube. One pathetic soul has even written a book entitled Lorne. Thanks, Nathaniel.
Well, I like the way he insults these people. Pathetic, disgusting.
So pathetic. We have a request. Iga wants you to say meh, like Winnie.
Oh, God. Okay. Meh.
Thank you for that. I have had harassing letters sent to me and my family. These people have made money off of my name through YouTube. Well, yeah. Including the reading of a book that I wrote entitled Taken Abroad and posting it on YouTube. I have had my book set up so that 50% of all proceeds is to be donated to Wounded Warrior. He never donated a cent to them.
Yeah, but he always throws that in there to show the honor.
He did it with court, right? He did it in court.
Yeah. I mean, these are illusory. I mean, they're not real money. It's not real money. He's just trying to show what a philanthropist he is. I guess I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's a good guy.
But the hell again. Keep in mind who he's writing to. He's writing to YouTube, and he's trying to. Oh God, this guy's helping these guys out. Oh my God, we got to help him.
We got to help him. Yeah, it shows he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I want all channels that are putting forth this harassing behaviour to be taken off immediately, and all funds that they have earned through their YouTube channels to be froze and sent to me at my address of 388 West Ridge Road, Cornwall, Maine. If you have...
Boom. Done. You got it, buddy. It's happening.
The next line I can't quite read. If you have something identity, look on the sex offender registry. Muggs, you had a really great statement to me about how hilarious it is that Lorne is trying to use the sex offender registry as a form of identification. Okay, come on. Scroll down.
You would think somebody who willfully and gladly gives away his social security number and bank account information and everything else would add a little bit more of information to him rather than just refer.
Can you guys hear me? Hello? Why does this always happen to me? Okay, I can't hear Shins anymore. I'm trying to hang up on him on Skype so I can... Yeah, it's the goat. Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm trying to get Shins back. Are you crying? My Bluetooth is losing signal. I don't know. Sorry, I'm really sorry, you guys. My computer's just having a bit of a moment. And I'm trying to get Shins back. It's the longest long distance call, exactly. Yeah, exactly. There we go. I think... Ugh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Why does this always happen to me? I'm trying to call you too, yeah. Okay. Let's try it again. Updating conversation. Let me call. Yeah, I'm 87 right now, Josh. Oh, there he is. He's calling me. Hello. Can you hear me now, my friend? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry.
I just had this big thing saying connection lost or something like that. It's probably something I did. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll blame you. It's just blame you, not my crappy internet. Mug said, the whole if you don't believe it's me, just look on the sex offender registry as a form of identification, and if you don't do what I ask, the lone man who is asking you for the pennies that I think these channels made, I'm going to pay for a lawyer to go after such a big company who would have literally no lawyers that could handle the power of my case against you. Yeah, it's just, it's ridiculous. Shin,
he hasn't copywritten anything, right?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
No. It is hard for me to believe that such a big company such as YouTube could overlook this type of behavior for such a long period of time just to make $1 at someone else's expense.
That is so Lorne.
That's so Lorne.
If you read his letters, he talks about, his prison letters, he talks about how they're keeping him in jail longer just to make more money off of him.
Yeah.
The corruption,
Oh, yeah. Corruption. Yeah.
He does that in something else too. I can't remember what it is, but his appeals. He just makes these weird statements about in the old days, they would have let us, or we can't allow our justice system to become corrupted. I'm actually saying it better than he did, but things like that. He throws that kind of language in there, and he thinks that that's going to carry the day.
Yeah, he does.
He's not going to refer to sources. He's not going to refer to other cases. He's not going to refer to even facts.
No.
He's just going to make a flowery argument. That's it.
And he doesn't even include any channel names. He doesn't include any URLs. He just basically, my name's Lorne Armstrong, find everything about me and delete it and give me money.
Well, it makes people wonder whether he actually realized that this isn't going to have any effect. He was just going through the motions to please you. I don't know.
Who knows when it comes to Lorne. I will be obtaining a lawyer in the near future that will be representing me. If you wish to settle this matter without going through court, then you can contact me directly until the end of the month of March. It would wise for you financially to contact me directly first, for you will only lose in court with all the evidence that I have not attached at all.
Okay, so you do all the work to figure out what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you anything.
Yep.
I'm not going to show you anything.
Mm-mm.
But if you don't do it, you do it at your own jeopardy. That's okay. Can you imagine how many letters you two gets like this every day?
I'm sure they get a lot. Nut jobs, yeah. If you add that to all the mental pain and anguish I have endured along the way, it would not benefit YouTube to meet me in court. It is incomprehensible to me how such a big company could operate with such carelessness. I want all videos and channels that are harassing in behavior to me. How is it harassing in behavior? Didn't Judge Woodcock say don't look on the internet, Lorne, and you won't have to worry about anything?
That's his remedy. That's his remedy.
You are a public figure, Lorne. People could be making videos about me. There's not much I can do about it. It's the internet. It's just the way things are. I want all videos and channels that are harassing in behavior to me to be removed immediately. The only channel that should exist depicting my likeness, depicting is spelled wrong, is the only channel that I myself created that you don't have access to.
Lorne Buddy, is that what that was?
That was Lorne's Buddy. Yep, that was one of them. Yep. I appreciate your prompt attention to the matter and look forward to talking to you in the near future. Sincerely, Lorne Armstrong.
You're absolutely right, Wine Lover. I mean, he doesn't even point to specific channels.
Mm-mm.
He's asking them to do his homework for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's all it is just a threat. It's just a long-winded threat where he tries to
and
sound
that's what he
intelligent.
does. That's exactly what he does. He's the blustery guy in a bar who's like, oh, I could kick your ass if I had to, but I don't have, he's that guy. And the last part is simply saying when he created his YouTube account, he gives his old address, which is publicly known, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, essentially, he's not even given his YouTube channel name. What a douchebag. That'd be like me writing and saying, hey, I want anything about Wine Lover taken off the internet. Here's,
Right.
You just have to know who I am.
Just give a URL or something. These are the ones I'm concerned about. At least, point their attention to what you're talking about.
Agreed.
He's asking them to, put this puzzle together for him. He's an idiot.
Mugs, if that was written by a troll, who could tell the difference at this point? Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When was this letter written? It was like last year,
March
right?
2020. Yeah.
Okay. And
nothing ever came back. Nothing.
Well, I would assume that, yes. But did he ever talk about it again?
I think he does reference it. I've written to YouTube. I've told them to take that shit down about me. But that's about it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I know.
This is almost crazy. Okay.
Lorne is just... That YouTube letter just really just encapsulates his mindset, the way he thinks the world works, the way he... it's like that thing about, fairness, right? Lorne lives in a world where he believes that you put something in, you get something back. He'd say to Jamie, I bought a ring for you. I want to marry you. So that means right. X, Y, Z. It means you shouldn't be talking to other people. It means that he just has this view, this childhood view of fairness. Like, in a legit world, Lorne, yeah, okay. You love someone and you go to the effort of, getting them a ring. And yeah, that should mean something to somebody, but maybe it doesn't, and it doesn't have to. That person is not obligated to be with you because you bought them a ring.
Well, it's like all of his proposals and his asking to marry you. I really didn't hear them until recently, where they're in the middle of an argument, and then he says something like, "Will you marry me?"
Yes, that was...
Are you listening to me? Will you marry... Like, it's going to stop her in her tracks and say, oh, that's the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
A man wants to marry me. I'm going to just spread my legs right now. Exactly. Dear Mr. Armstrong, please fuck off upstairs. Sincerely, YouTube. Yes. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Fuck off upstairs. Yeah. We aren't broken up. Yeah, they were essentially broken up most of the relationship. And every time Jamie would remind him of that, don't say that shit.
Yeah. Or in the recent call, where they were broken up, and he said it doesn't matter why we broke up. I don't want to break up anymore. Whatever it is, it's really strange. I mean, he just wants to...
Who says broken up?
Stay glommed up.
Who says broken up? Boyfriend, girlfriend? I mean, it's just...
Well, that's the other thing. He doesn't think... There's two things. Number one, he believes that two people have to make a decision to break up. And what's the second one? That it was a big one too. I can't remember what it was. Somebody might remember in the chat here.
Tiff says, he believes both parties have to agree to be broken up. But then again, he breaks up with her. So she can't decide to break up, but he can decide to break up. Yeah, what? Go ahead.
Yeah, the second thing is nobody has a right to change their mind. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you fell into love with someone, and by the way, that's the other thing. You always have to love him. You can't just like him. You just can't see how things are going to work out. You got to, there's a time stamp on when you got to love him.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you say, you know what, I think I love you, and then say two months down the line things aren't working out, which is the case always, he won't accept the change of circumstances or the change of feelings.
Correct.
He's going to keep you pinned down to the original affection you had for him, and most of that is him doing the interpreting, him inferring what you're saying, just like you did with Kayla.
Yep.
You must really have a crush on me. You must really like me.
Because she's talking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that constant shit about we were in love with each other. We cared about each other, and it's similar to everything he does. When somebody's hurting him, it's never him. It's us. You're killing us.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's never. Oh, that hurts me. No, can't you see what you're doing? You're hurting us. It's all collective.
Very much so.
It's strange. I can't really analyze that. Other than to say that he's so deluded, obviously, and a bully.
A bully is a good word for it. I don't even really have the words for him. I mean, it's been, how many years have I been talking about this guy? I mean, it's ridiculous. And there's still more. He's a lolcow. There's just, it's never ever going to be enough information about him because he's just so eminently fascinating in so many ways. The way that he views the world.
He always manages to surprise you.
He does.
He's as predictable as he is, he can still surprise you. But not like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You always do. But I can't believe that, I don't know what it is. I can't believe that situation popped up and he did it that way. Forget it. But what did Michael say? You're throwing me and you away. Everything, there's no pain that's being sent his direction. It's sent in our relationship.
Well,
but again, the biggest thing is there's just no accounting for someone changing their mind or changing their feelings. It can't happen.
You're not allowed to. He screamed that at Debbie. You flirted with me at the start. Don't act like you've got feelings for me, and then you can't just change your mind. Stick to it. Stick to it is what he screamed at her. And again, it goes back to Lorne. You think people meet each other, they have feelings at the start. Maybe they continue those feelings and those feelings grow, but they're not compelled to keep feeling a certain way for your.
It's not unconditional. Exactly. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, you want unconditional? Go. That's what your mom's for, and even then, that can change.
Speaking of mom, I mean, I'm wondering, as a kid, all the stuff he must have been listening to between his mother and Dale, or maybe his brothers or siblings and their real girlfriends and boyfriends.
Yeah.
I think he takes that all in, and it's all the negative shit. It's all the bad. It's all the worst stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think that he really grew up in a volatile environment.
I believe he did. Yeah.
A lot of neglect, a lot of abuse. I mean, that one story he told about Uncle Clay knocking somebody out with a cast iron frying pan.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell is that? That kind of incident is that would definitely scar you. But for him, it was just like run of the mill. So my guess is he hears all these things, and again, because a conflict is going to be naturally louder, people are going to scream at each other or whatever. That's the stuff he hears all the time.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Maybe there isn't good stuff he listens to, but you're cheating on me. You're lying. You're lying to me. Even if you admit, you know what, I did cheat on you. You're right. I did lie. We should move on. You wonder where he would go from there.
He threatened Jamie with breaking up if she had done a show with Will or MJ's partner.
Maggie Joe's fiance,
Yeah.
I think, or boyfriend, was the big issue. Will was thrown in as the cherry.
No, Will was the issue. I think he was less upset about because John Michael Jr. had a woman, so he didn't necessarily want Jamie. He's already got a woman. But Will was the bugbear for him. He's been jealous of Will from day one. Even though they never did anything like that. I think maybe near the end, Will was part of a movie and she did something with him, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I remember the conversation where she was really distraught, and they had reached some kind of impasse, Lorne and J.A. And Will came in the room. It was like the worst time to talk for Lorne to talk to anybody besides J.A.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? And he was the subject of what was causing all the problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Lorne, you could hear his temper just flare.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that it was Will. Yeah, I always wondered about something.
Yeah.
You guys, obviously, he hangs up all the time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, things get too rough for him. He can't handle it. And then, of course, he's going to pick up right away as soon as you call him back.
Oh, not always. Sometimes he'd let the phone ring and he would push the send to voicemail button.
Okay.
Yeah. So he would play games.
Okay. All right. But what if you didn't call him back? What would happen? I mean, I think we had a taste of that with that last phone call, right?
He will call you back. He will.
Incessantly. I mean, he'll revert right into stalker mode, right?
Mm-hmm. Because he was claiming that in the hang-up time that Jamie, you hung up on me or you didn't call me back because you were talking to Sheffrey. I mean, it was just insane. And that point he made about you said goodnight to me and then you stayed up for 2 hours. Who were you talking to in those 2 hours? Because, you know, if I stop talking to somebody, I might take 2 hours to go to bed, but I'm probably on YouTube or I'm not talking to other people. But Lorne, I don't even really have words for it. It's insanity.
Well, it's like if you had, like, let's say, you know, Winnie's situation was crazy. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Ramona was kind of like a little more tame or whatnot. But there was doctors.
She had to be.
If you had a normal situation where you were just talking to him and said, "Oh, I got to pick up this call. I'll call you right back."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just like normal people, you know, I think that would trigger him.
You'd be right.
Not necessarily get him angry right away, but who is that? Who you're talking to? Blah blah blah. You know.
There's calls like that. Literally, Jamie's on the phone with him, and she says, "Hold on, Lorne," and she's quiet for about 2 minutes, and then Lorne figures out that she was messaging somebody, and he completely freaks the fuck out. Completely. You were on the phone with me, but you're messaging him. It was
messaging the world. Doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, if he's getting cheated out in attention for real life issues, real things.
Yeah.
He just won't. You just won't accept that. But I'm wondering, you know, if a catfish came along and they just were normal, and then then when it finally broke off, it was just, I'm breaking up with you because of you, not for anyone else, but you. I don't like being abused all these, months.
Essentially, that was the last few months of the Jamie quote-unquote relationship.
I
mean, essentially, It was basically her saying, you treat me like shit, and he would just turn around, you treat me like shit. I mean, she wasn't with him.
He always throws in, it's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be me. But what if it was just you? I mean, can you accept it? He would not accept that. I think he would be, I think that's when his danger buttons are really, really pressed.
Interesting.
Especially if it happened in real life. Like, God knows what he did to that Nikki girl.
No, yeah, well, luckily we have because Lorne's an idiot and sent the documents, but, I mean, I don't think she's entirely innocent. I think she clearly was using him, and with no intentions, but, I mean, there are women like that, and men like that everywhere, Lorne, so you have to be smarter not to be used by those people. Yeah, I believe there was a story. I don't think I've ever actually heard it, but I believe there was a story that he turned up at her job. Her boyfriend had to tell him to fuck off. I mean...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that was her. Okay.
That was
'Cause I know there's another person, too. Yeah.
That was 2015, if I recall the date correctly. It's in the drive. That's in the description, you guys, if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you have, but if you haven't. I mean... I don't even have words for it. It's insane. It's insanity.
In that September 2015 home visit report.
Okay, is that it?
Where Bryce was going through his phone and finding 37 messages and
I don't think it was
else.
Bryce, but I think it was Mitchell and
Mitchell, right.
And another one. Yeah, going through, looking at all these calls, mom, N as Nikki,
the black car,
trying to hide her name. I mean, that particular document to me is proof that no matter, I mean, people might want to say the catfishes have ruined his life or they have affected him. This is the same man in 2015 with a real life person as he was with Ramona, with Winnie, with Debbie, with Jamie, with any of them. He's the same entitled, psychotic man who sent message after message after message to this woman, enough so that I believe she called his probation. She called probation. I believe, because I just can't understand. I think I questioned Lorne about this, but I cannot understand why 9 o'clock at night, two of them go. Lorne usually has just one person, a woman, come during the day, but 9 o'clock at night, I mean, they on the same day. I don't believe that was one of the spontaneous visits, but Lorne tried to say it was just one of the normal visits on the same day that you were harassing somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, they mentioned a harassment. How do they put it? A complaint, a harassment.
Mm-hmm. She put in a harassment. I don't think it was a restraining order. I think she just complained to the local
Right.
PD.
That's what I wanted to ask about. So that sounds like it may have been just a complaint to probation.
Yeah, or she called the police and said this guy won't stop texting me and calling me, and they may have called probation to get them to deal with it. But I get the impression she might have been smart enough to call them directly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll never know.
Right.
But that's sort of my opinion.
Okay, I'm not sure if a lot of people want to know this, but I certainly want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Are we on Team Virgin?
I believe that Lorne believes he's had sex. I believe Lorne believes he's not a virgin. And I base that on part 1 of the Child Is Yours call. I base that on his I base it on his reaction to Winnie telling him that he has a child. And I've never heard his reactions the way that he did there. But I do believe, I believe based on, he believes that there's multiple clits. He believes that a woman lactates 24/7. I find it difficult to believe, even with all of his social issues, that a man in the military, a man who was, I believe, relatively attractive when he was younger. He was kind of weirdly proportioned, but I don't think he was ugly when he was younger. I just find it difficult to believe that that someone of his age in 2021 is still a virgin. When he was at bars all the time. If you told me in 20 years that they're 50-year-old virgins, I would totally believe that. Yeah, Sprinkle, he said it sarcastically. He said it it was played out of context. I'm your virgin, honey.
Reborn raised a good point about that issue. And again, it kind of makes it the same conclusion that you did. You believe that Lorne thinks he may have had sex.
I believe he believes he's had sex. I believe he's woken up next to some chick. I believe he's drunkenly pounded away between her legs and maybe didn't get it. Do you know what I mean? He does not believe
I agree.
that he's a virgin.
That's what I think.
I don't.
But Reborn said that he wanted to make sure he talked to her because he thinks it may have been a situation where he passed out, he woke up, and he thought he had sex.
Yeah.
With her, and he wanted to confirm that with her before he took on paternity or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're never going to know, right? Because somebody could come out and say, I had sex with Lorne Armstrong. Well, they're not going to say that, and two, this community would tear them apart anyway, and they wouldn't necessarily believe them because the narrative is that Lorne is a virgin, so people are just going to go at it. So my belief is he believes he's not a virgin.
Funny, that's why.
It is funny.
Well, but let me dissuade you of something, though. There are plenty of middle-aged virgins out there. And even good-looking, yes. I actually had 2 or 3, I can't remember. One died, and therefore he died a virgin. So, it happens. And it usually comes down to the getting intimate, being comfortable being intimate. These guys were afraid of women or couldn't speak to them. But it is, they do exist. A lot of them are out there. And I sometimes I feel that, I said this before, that Lorne is an incel hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel you on that. Yeah. No, I used to be definitely he's not a virgin, but again, that was a narrative that I believed. And I don't. Listening to Lorne over the past year, I mean, I think Reborn's hinted to it, but Lorne thinks that pussy flavor sprays are a thing and said that he had used them on somebody and then said he had never used them before. He's just, Tiff, help me here. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll get away that idea that it's nearly impossible for middle-aged men to be virgins. I mean, I think you should kind of get rid of that. That's
okay.
that happened, or at least my own experience. I know a couple people, so that's why it's not totally surprising to me.
I see that.
Tiffany did say something. I think he wanted to talk to LJ's mother because he didn't want to trust Winnie with having control over the conversation.
Correct. I think he later moved on to Emma because he trusts her more with information.
Winnie was funny in that conversation. Do you think LJ's large? Do you think? What if I walk in on him naked? Oh, his reaction was, it's fine. That's my son you're talking about.
Yeah.
You could be a stepmother. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that the evidence that he isn't a virgin always has to be inferred. It has to be, implied. There's nothing direct,
Yeah.
And there's so much evidence that he is, so.
He probably is. I mean, Tiff says it here as sex stories. I mean, the amount of sex stories he told Jamie. I mean, this is a man who said that he fucked in a brook, this is a man who says that he'll go down with Jamie for 2 hours underwater. No woman is going to want that for 2 hours, bro. If it takes you 2 hours, you're not doing something right.
Was he knocked her out or something? Yeah.
Exactly. This is a man who thinks that he's going to come home from work and she's just going to, being all dirty and sweaty and gross, and she's just going to throw him on the bed and fuck him. No, thank you. You're having a shower first. So maybe that's just...
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
And it's like the idea that once you're together and you're cohabitating, that you're constantly touching each other's genitals.
Yes.
Agreed. And having sex for long periods of time and everything else. I don't know. I mean, if he did have sex, you're right. Maybe it was clumsy. Maybe he couldn't quite get it in, and maybe that's it. But I go back to Amanda James's argument. And again, by the way, she's not pro virgin on this one. But if he did have someone, we would have been hearing about this person over and over and over again. I mean, we hear about more catfish than real people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we know that he will never let go of anybody. So
no, he'll be talking about Jamie in 5 years to his new catfish. Had a girlfriend named Jamie. She was a porn star.
Right.
These are all real relationships to him. And
oh,
Tiffany,
Jesus Christ, Tiffany, is that true?
I need to tell this story. I feel kind of bad. I feel like I'm telling all these, but there's so many stories. I don't feel that bad. So essentially, Lorne. Sorry.
What Tiffany just said?
Yes.
Did you read that?
So, yes,
Okay.
I did. I remember the story. So, essentially, Lorne told a story about how he was in a bar or a restaurant with a woman. What? That's disgusting. Lorne claimed that he was making googly eyes with this woman, and he took off his shoe and stuck his big toe inside the woman under the table.
Okay.
and that
Okay.
one, that's going to be very difficult
Where
to
do we start
even.
with that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But when he took it out, she said, "Thank you, that was nice," or something to that effect. So Lorne
His toe
thinks his
is disgusting.
disgusting athlete's foot infested toe.
Fungus.
Joey. Yes, Lorne
Joey didn't hear this?
claims that no, Joey, no.
Okay.
Joey Lorne claims that he stuck his big toe into a woman's vagina under the table at a restaurant, and that she was very excited by that. And because one, I'm sorry, but thank you for toe banging me. It was no.
Nice.
I don't know Balthazar. He wants to seem sexually experienced. I certainly agree with that. I believe if he has had sex, it's been a couple of times. Did he put a used condom on that?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
here's the other thing. When somebody lies about a subject, they pretty much lost their credibility on that.
Yeah.
For me, and there's two things. One is the one night stands he allegedly had in Nashville. That couldn't have happened. I mean, I just don't know. And if you lie about that, then why? First of all, why would you lie about that? And what was the second one? Oh, the second one was that anytime you make love to a woman who has her period, you have to put a garbage bag
Lorne
underneath.
confessed that didn't actually even happen. We brought
we
that
got
up to
into
him.
that shit now.
Reborn's
Why would he
got
say that to begin with, though?
because he thinks. I think again, it goes back to that stuff that teenagers talk about. Is like, oh, if you fuck a woman with a tampon in, she's. I'm just trying to think of like those stupid little sex things. I mean, obviously, no woman in this world would lay on a trash bag.
No.
I think.
What does he expect? It's going to be a murder scene when he's done. It's going to, it's
I know some freaky
blood
women.
droplets everywhere. And you're right. Who said my big toe always?
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean that he's a virgin. It just means, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you think as an adult that every person you're going to have sex with is going to. There's certain things you do, and that doesn't always happen. You're like, do you not realize that, Anyway, I've certainly met men who aren't as sexually knowledgeable as I would have expected of a grown-ass man.
Let's break down this story first of all. The toe in the vagina story. So he goes to a restaurant. He doesn't know this woman, right?
Tiff, do you recall, honey? I can always bring you on, Tiff, if you want to.
Okay, they're at the same table, apparently. So what does he do? Just kind of turns to the side, unties his shoes, takes off his socks, and puts his feet back under? Or is he wearing sandals or something? I have no...
Tiff, do you recall, honey? Because I am not 100%. Tiff is better. Or Muggs, you might know. Remember this particular one. There's just so much Lorne stuff over the years. It's like my brain can't recall it all.
But how can you create a story like that? How can you make up what the fuck is going on in your head to make up a story like that and think that somehow paints you in a good light, or a desirable light, or whatever the fuck he's trying to do? How do you make up that scenario in your head? It means that that's what he's probably thinking, when he's in a restaurant with somebody. God, anybody who sees Lorne in a restaurant, get the fuck out of there. Lorne has not had sex with a woman.
Okay, Max was not there for the camel toe story.
Tiffany, clear that up for us.
I don't know. I'm seeing if she can come on with us, but she's not. Maybe she's busy. Yeah, it was just one of many really odd sex stories. I mean, to be fair, when I was a virgin, I believed stuff I'd maybe read in a book which wasn't true. So I can kind of see that perspective. All right, doll, I will add you to the call. Hold on, we're going to add her to the call. Chins.
Is Tiffany coming in?
Yeah, she's going to come in. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Nice. If I can figure out. Can you add her to the call?
Me?
Nice. Yes, please.
Oh,
do you know how?
Hang on a second. I don't have
oh, hold on. I'm about to do it. It's okay.
Love to.
It's okay.
Call in.
You're with technology the way Lorne is with women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Come on. Add to call every time I click it. Why? I don't want to add West to the call. So
That's okay. If you lose me, just get her on, and I'll call back in if you need to.
I don't want to let go of your voice yet.
Like doing my cigarette.
Add, exactly. All right, I'm adding Miss Tiff. Everyone, my stream will be 1,000 times more exciting. Got Shin. I've got Tiff.
So, thank you. I needed that. I came in here for good toe fucking. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, gorgeous.
Hey, we're going to talk about some toe fucking.
Yes, babe, let's do it.
Hi.
My favorite.
Give us the poop on that, please. What happened?
I believe that this was definitely at a restaurant. He was sitting across from somebody. This wasn't a complete stranger, like they just met there. I think that it may have been someone that Tony knew. Mm-hmm. One of those types of situations, because Tony always knows everyone.
Yep.
And so sitting across, they were giving eyes to each other. I believe that she blew smoke in his face.
Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm.
So,
what?
Or he did with
she
her.
blew smoke in. I think she did it to him, and that was the signal to kind of get things going. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may be getting the stories mixed up. But
you mean there's another similar story to that?
I
too?
think that there is the smoke story. I think the thing that is confusing is that I think that both things were invitations to go fuck in the truck.
I think
so
you're
there
correct.
was blowing the smoke in the face, yeah, and then there was the time where, again, a woman across from him, and he put his big toe inside of her vagina, just stuck it in there. As if that is a thing. Yeah, he just stuck it in there. So,
who was it? NCA said it was probably at a Burger King.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been at a karaoke place too, because Lorne was slaying in his karaoke days.
Jesus, that is a weird story.
They're all weird stories.
They're very weird.
They're all weird, and especially when he's asked of them again later on, you will hear contradictions or just like
I never said
Milo
that.
never said. Yeah. Oh, that never happened.
What are you talking about?
You know, but yeah.
It's similar to the Rue story, where he was made to tell it twice.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there's differences. Yeah.
The toe thing. So.
Yep is wanting to know how this works.
I mean, I don't know how it works. I don't want to find out.
How would you get your foot all the way? I don't even.
Especially his legs. His legs are like Western.
His legs, yeah, they are. They're short, and also you would have to have almost like. Oh wait, here's the gorilla connection. Maybe he has gorilla feet that have a toe that could actually separate so much that it's its own.
Yeah, because he would have the other toes smacking up against her. And, you know, the toe, you know, Lorne doesn't really take care of his feet. What, I mean, scratching and stuff? Oh, my God.
Yeah, his toenail.
Yeah, his disgusting fungal infected toenail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, Joey. It's going to cut her.
Jesus
so, but that was sexy. It got him laid. Allegedly. Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Has anybody
no one's ever heard of that.
No, because it's just
with normal people. I don't know. I can understand that maybe at home or something, or you know.
Well, why? No, never,
what?
never.
I would never.
Right, yeah. That's what I said. Yeah. Did he take off his boots and socks first?
I feel like he was wearing flip flops, but I could be wrong.
He was wearing flip flops. Yeah.
It's like swinging back and forth on the bar stool.
Imagine explaining that to your gyno. What's this? Somebody said before, Ben Gay and Vagisil team up to fight the most disgusting fungal infection of all time. Yeah.
You would need that. It would be the most insane. It'd be like the perfect storm of fungus. You know, something they've never really seen before. How would you explain that you have athlete's foot in your vagina?
How about if you were the person sitting next to the woman and you happen to look over at her lap?
Well, exactly. Right.
Jesus Christ.
Or the confused and appalled look on her face.
Yeah. Oh, she was grateful, apparently.
Yeah.
Now, he describes a lot of weird sexual encounters. I've heard another one with a Chinese restaurant or something.
A Chinese restaurant?
An Asian woman he was with or something. Roy came in on.
Ooh.
Oh, well, the one with Roy walking in, I believe, was at his house.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things that some people will think of as their evidence that Lorne is not a virgin, because supposedly Roy walked in or wouldn't leave.
Let's see if his penis was inside her.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and Roy, how drunk is Roy? Does Roy know what's happening at any given moment?
Right. Plus, Roy will lie down in traffic if Lorne tells him to.
Right. Yeah, he'll just agree with it. You know, Roy, I don't think is the one that comes right out. Oh yeah, I walked in and you were having sex with somebody. Lorne is going to say, "Remember that time you walked in?"
That's what he said, I think. And Roy was just
like,
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Remember the girl's name.
Love it. I just picture Lorne slouched down so far in his chair for this woman's stretching to get his leg across.
He would be really, really, really low in order to get his foot up there.
Because he's 5'7" with sheesh.
Did he put a condom on his toe, or you know?
No. He's doing it raw.
Jesus.
That's how you do it when you do it with a toe. You want to make sure you can feel it.
Your left leg over my right shoulder. He said that was his favourite position. He also claimed to have had missionary sex in like a chair, which...
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
It's my question. Her on top, okay, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because whenever you're hearing these stories, I don't know if you guys ever try to picture it as if it's happening. I think that's where a lot of confusion comes in, because you're kind of like, I don't understand how that works exactly. Yeah, because at some point, at some point, both of her feet aren't on the ground. So what's happening? But yet that's it's just going along with the story.
Sometimes when you really go, Blue Boy did this great video on Lorne doing sex talk. And you know what I'm talking about, Tiffany? And then I'll reach down, put my finger in your butthole. He says
slide it in.
He does, the butthole.
And then, I take off and my cock hits your nose. It's like, what the fuck?
I know.
Sounds like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And then you look up at me. And then the games he had with Rhoda, I think it was. We'd be running and running and running, and then you'd fall down and land right on my cock. That's how it happens. That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
I do.
Okay. I think I'm pretty solid virgin at this point.
You're a virgin?
Yeah, well.
You're a solid virgin. Okay.
Well, I'm in the virgin camp.
No, I definitely am as well. I definitely am. It did.
I remember my shock, Tiffany, when I found out you were team virgin. I was like, clobber got to you. No.
I know. I was really shocked. It was one of those moments where I'm sitting there. I'm like, nope, not a virgin, not a virgin. Then I was like, wait a minute. It was almost an epiphany.
Tiffany,
it really was.
Yeah.
What was it?
I think it was realizing that he didn't have the type of experience that I imagined that he did in the Air Force.
Yeah, that was that's the chunk of time when he would most likely have lost his virginity, I think. Because if you think about it, when he got out of high school, okay, first of all, I think he was tormented in high school. I don't think he had any friends. I think he was probably bullied. Mm-hmm. And what did he do as soon as he graduated high school? He stayed in the same town. Mm-hmm. He's going to have that stink still on him. People making fun of him. So however many years he stayed there, he wasn't going to get any local women, or at least local women from his high school, people who knew who he was, blah, blah, blah. But then he goes into the Air Force, and that, I think, was his only opportunity. But you hear the stories he tells about the Air Force, You know, remember the van one where he puked in the van or something?
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, that's on
story.
Reborn's channel. Yeah.
There was a girl in that van, but she was puking behind him. So
Yes.
the whole story. That story didn't even sound believable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm beginning to think. I was thinking, okay, during his military time, he wasn't popular either. You know, maybe he was going out for drinks, but he got so drunk that his buddies or whoever they were, Sergeant Pablo, would just tell him, get the fuck out of here, dude. We don't want to drink with you anymore, something like that. But so that's the only window of opportunity I see, and for a long.
He was.
Anybody who's, nobody would waste their time on something like that if they had any options.
No, absolutely not. And I think, the point that you mentioned earlier about Amanda James saying that he would have been obsessed with this woman. He's not a one night stand kind of a guy. He isn't. You think about Nikki, they never even kissed. And look at what he's done. Yeah. And
the report said, "Are you girlfriend? Does she know that you're her boyfriend?"
Does she know? Yeah, because he thought that he was. And they didn't even have that type of a relationship at all.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to act that way, I can't imagine somebody actually being intimate with him.
Well, that's the whole point. We know how he is.
Mm-hmm.
How can anybody get close to him? I mean, and it's not like one of these things where, you get used to him after a while and then he starts to turn bad. He's bad right away. That's my feeling about it.
No, I absolutely agree. I think the creeper vibes are going to be happening immediately. Mm-hmm. I think even just with his conversation, he's not particularly interesting to talk to. Everybody knows that, the boring Lorne, when he's just talking about the closet and what he's doing for the day. He talks about his mom, and he's not really going to have anything to say. I think when you hear him go into a store and he's talking to the cashiers and he's just like, "You're working hard, you're hardly working." He's just kind of really dumb. He has his little things when he's thinking that he's being cute, but it lasts for a minute and then he leaves, so he's not able to have that type of a conversation. And I would actually be so interested to see him on a date, like from afar, not with me. I won't be there, but I would love to be able to witness that, because I don't know if you've ever been to a restaurant and you can tell that two people are probably on a first date. Mm-hmm. Because you can feel how awkward it is. They're not looking at each other. They're kind of just sitting there, really praying for their food to get there so fast so that they have something to do. I feel like that's what it would be like for Lorne. He would never be able to maintain eye contact. He's going to be so shy that he won't be able to pull it off. It would be the most awkward thing ever.
But change that scenario. Change that scenario where last call in the bar, lights are coming on.
Right.
The bar skanks or whatever you want to call them are there lined up. Okay. Go ahead. What happens?
Nothing.
Well, he's got to approach him. I mean, he's got to give it a shot.
But he won't do that. Now the other thing too is that he has said that they make the move.
Yeah.
He never indicates that he makes any kind of move to anybody. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about the woman gawking.
Yep.
At the yard sale. Even at that moment, he never spoke to that person. If she was real, there's a lot of speculation with that too.
And in terms of initial attraction, physical
attraction is really important for that to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and again, I'm not. Please, people, shorter people, don't take this the wrong way at all. But we're just talking about Lorne. He's this little short guy, who's kind of goofy looking, whatever. I mean, usually if you're in a crowd, and from what I understand, it's usually the tall guys that are going to do a little bit better than him. So he's not going to have, he's not going to have, first of all, an opportunity or a shot at getting someone if there's a crowd of other guys with him. Or two, he's certainly not going to have anybody stare at him and make a move on him. He just doesn't have any of the attributes that are typical, that are typically attractive. Although you're right, Jason, he does have Justin Timberlake looks.
I just saw that too. That is, I can't believe he said that.
What made him say that?
Was he asked what celebrity he looks like, or do you look like any celebrities, and that's what he came up with?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who told him that?
Well, who knows?
Oh, well, according to him.
I don't remember.
Well, think about it. He doesn't have any friends, really, to speak
Maybe
of.
his mom.
Tony would say something like that, would he? Maybe he would as a joke.
As a joke,
No,
yeah.
he would. I mean, if it could be something like that, but it also could be something where he just completely made it up. Maybe Justin Timberlake was on the TV at that very moment or something. That's what made him think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he'll say, "Oh, this woman at Walmart that I've known never told me that I look just like him."
Was Matthew Broderick or something? Is that right?
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember hearing that either.
I think it was in the same phone call as Justin, but Matthew Broderick, I mean, that's pretty. He's not really that distinct. Doesn't really have a look, It's really weird.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But I think if somebody was staring, Paul Giamatti, if somebody was staring at him, maybe it's because he wears his hat the way that he does. I mean, isn't that crazy? How high up he wears his hat.
Yes.
I never noticed that until it was pointed out in that "I hate making videos" video.
Yeah.
I never noticed it, and now I can't not see it all the time. So I wonder why he does that. I don't know if it's a way to make him look taller. Do you think it is?
Yes.
Or do you think it's because the hat doesn't really fit his head because of the shape?
His
so he
head
can't
shape.
Pull it down.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Well, you have the hat and the boots, and you got 5'8".
Yeah.
So even when you saw him, Shin, in court, you said that he's definitely shorter.
Short guys are short guys. I couldn't tell you if he's 5'6" or 5'5" or 5'7" or 5'8".
Right.
I'm not saying short, but I'm just saying people shorter than me. I can't really. I could tell I was probably a foot taller than him.
Okay.
In that range. He might come up to just below my neck.
I would love to see that.
Me too.
Lorne standing.
I would love a picture like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But yeah, and what was the other thing? He I can't remember what it is. It's just so much. I just don't see it. I just don't see that. The perfect storm coming together for him to get laid.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand it. Yeah, count of three. He did say on his Yahoo profile he's 5'8.5", and I think Reborn said the other night that he had told other people he was 5'9".
Yes.
Did he really?
Yeah, and that also he apparently, and again I don't know if I'm wrong, his penis is approximately 6 to 8 inches long.
That is, I do remember.
Sure.
You heard that one? I didn't hear that, but that's what Reborn said. He
actually did. That there's, please.
What are you gonna say? Don't hold out on us.
5'7" with shoes.
5'7" with boots. Yeah, that was really weird. Why would you want somebody to measure your height while you're wearing shoes?
Mm.
Yeah, she literally said, "You've got shoes on." He's like, "Yep," and she's like, "Okay." 5'7" with shoes. Yeah.
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 So that's at least an inch, if not more, because he was wearing those boots.
And his work boots are about an inch sole, easy, I think.
Yeah.
I forgot to throw in another variable. During that period time, that window of losing your virginity opportunity, he was also losing his hair. drastically.
He's
during
grey
that time.
now. He's
And I'm not
completely
saying
grey.
that wouldn't have made him unattractive to other people. I'm saying that would have destroyed, that could have destroyed his confidence as he was going along. So that was
Well, he
happening.
always wore a hat, though.
Mm.
Yeah, but he's got to take it off at some point.
Yeah, but he's, at that point, he's already going to have you in the bag, Shin.
Yeah, well, unless you're on a stoop and your hat falls off as you're getting arrested.
Favorite moment. I do. He's crying. Yeah. So definitely Team Virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless
Still to this day.
I would be surprised, but I would accept some real facts, some real evidence, something. I'm not saying a woman has to come forward or anything like that. I don't even know he doesn't even have a picture of another woman, right? I mean, you would think,
yes, he does.
He does.
He does. Who?
It's someone that he claims was somebody, I believe, that he met when he was in the Air Force. Yeah. I believe it was when he was in the Air Force, and somehow they reconnected when he was back in Maine, and she sent him a letter with a picture in it. And he has that picture still in his safe, which is creepy as fuck.
Yes.
And actually, I don't believe that this is a woman that Lorne has ever had a relationship with.
No.
I feel like this is a picture of someone who maybe had a relationship with someone else that he knows, because he obviously has the picture, and it's an actual photo.
Yeah.
From a long time ago. So, yeah, he has it. And, she's an attractive woman. And so he's going to be parading that around as his ex until the end of time. It's just so weird.
In time, the wrinkle marks in it, the hole marks in it.
Right. Yeah.
Like George Costanza showing the his model.
Yes. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know why he has that.
And then the final thing is what you got out of him when he finally admitted he's never had a relationship.
Right. But in his head, he did.
Yeah,
that was the whole world. Paula. Yeah, when he was talking about Paula.
Yep.
Here's somebody that he never had a relationship with, and he's screaming and yelling about how she's a slut and she cheated on him and she broke his heart into a million pieces, and they never had a relationship.
Who? Oh, you talking about Paula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be the blame and for him to say to Ramona, if we break up or whatever, that it's going to hurt me more with you than it did with Paula. And it's like, you were never with Paula. I don't know why you're crying.
How many different stories did you get about Paula from him?
As far as
can you piece it together for us, because there's so much different information out there.
Oh God.
I'm just wondering, what is your theory?
If they ever had sex, you mean?
It just in general. Who is she? I mean, who was she to him?
What I think, I think that she was friends with his brother and his wife at the time.
Yep.
And they all lived in Washington, and he lived with his brother. And this was somebody that I think would also go to the karaoke bars and kind of hang out. They were like locals,
Mm-hmm.
So they were friends with each other. And I think that his brother and his wife were friends with her and her fiance and her boyfriend.
Yep.
And so they would go over to their place, and Lorne would be there.
Yeah.
I think that she was friendly to Lorne. I think it's, there is a possibility that they were friendly, but it never went anywhere at all.
Yeah.
The betrayal part. That part where he said, I was going to ask her to marry me, but she told me not to because she might say yes. What the fuck does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
No.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story. Truly.
But it's like, why are you asking her in hopes of getting a no? I don't understand that. And by the way, first time I heard on that new top 5 phone call from Reborn the other night, when he had asked
J.A. the robot to marry him, and she said no.
Well, you're gonna need to. Yeah.
You're gonna have to do that soon, or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like you have to fall in love with me now, today. Okay, not today. Okay, 48 hours from now, you better fall in love with me.
Yeah. Or at some point, you're gonna have to tell me every dirty thing he did to you.
Yeah.
That's spank bank material. That's what that is.
Oh yeah.
It's also grooming.
I think it's just his way of. I don't know if spank bank or grooming. I think it's Lorne believes that you tell people things, special things like that. It's a trust thing. Do you know what I mean? It's a, hey, if I tell you about my child molestation, it means we are super close right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That closeness is what it's all about. And then he'll hear stories with her.
Yeah, and he's all about the isolation. You can see that with Jamie too. He does not want Maggie Joe around. He doesn't want Will around. You don't tell them about us because it's none of their business. And he knows that if Jamie's telling them something or if they are hearing her cry, that he's going to catch shit for it. And that's what he doesn't want. Yeah, he's the guy who, you know, is going to be so abusive, but is going to put on a smiling face in front of everyone. You know, but you know that as soon as everyone's gone, you're in trouble.
Right. Now, since this is about his computer use,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
What did you say?
Should he ever be on the internet?
No, he has no reason to be.
He doesn't. He's. We're not talking about someone who lives in the middle of New York who needs, you know, internet access so they can get Uber Eats or something. This is a man who, his own property. He does not. There's no reason for him to be on the internet, except maybe to sell items. But he couldn't even do that. Granted, we found him, but somebody would have found him eventually.
Oh, absolutely. And if he were to ever try to do something like that again, it's going to happen again immediately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you do have people who are checking, like you said, Pacer. You can check Pacer. You can check the RSO page. You can check the dispatches to see if anyone's been arrested.
Yep.
You can check the jails. You can check all kinds of things just constantly. And you're eventually going to run into something. And it happens so fast because he lives in such a small area. That's the thing, too, is that the options, you know, again, you're not looking at New York City where if you do a search for something, you're going to get a million results. If you narrow it down just a little bit in that one area, you're going to find them.
Yeah.
What would he use the internet for anyway?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we can think of ourselves, right? How do we use the internet? We're obviously using it now, but I work with it. I have to use it every single day.
Right. Well, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about him.
So then,
to a certain extent, I think technology has passed him by.
Exactly. So long. Yeah. Right. He uses a local credit union for his banking, which is all going to be going to the actual bank and doing whatever you need to do. He doesn't need online banking. He doesn't shop for anything. He goes to Walmart in the grocery store. There's nothing that he really needs it for. And like you said, you know, technology has really just kind of passed him by, that I don't think he really knows what to do. And if you think about it, when he was in Nashville and when he was in all the other places before, when he was using the internet, what was he using it for? He was chatting.
Yeah.
That's it. You never hear him being
not just Nashville. I think he's been doing that since he's been on the computer.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it was there, but then it was also, you know, the other things. But when he was in Nashville specifically, when he didn't have a TV, he didn't have anything. So he came, he didn't have a bed. We know that. So he would come back from wherever to an empty apartment, and he would have nothing except for his computer. And it wasn't like he was doing other things. He was just chatting. Because if you know, at that point, if you were going on there, there's going to be people, right, to talk to. He's just going to be trolling the country music rooms where he can sing.
Right. Right.
He's going to go into the local rooms where maybe there's going to be a chick there that he can show his wiener to.
Right.
You know, that's what he was doing. He never talks about doing other things.
That was
Yeah.
his main
With
form of
the
entertainment, was his computer.
Mhm. Yeah.
That
And
doesn't
that's why.
occur these days, though. There's no chat rooms anymore. You know, there's IMs, I guess, and social media sites.
Yeah, it looks a lot different, you know, clearly. He wouldn't even know what to do. But I think that that's his major way of communicating and making friends or finding love is to just go on the internet. And that's why when you hear him yelling and screaming at Jamie because she's on the internet,
Oh yeah.
he's talking to other guys.
Yeah,
Because
it's
that's
only
what
for other guys.
Lorne does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is something he would be doing with other women. So he's gonna impute that on her.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Like the first time Lorne found the internet, that must have been like.
Oh yeah, the first time that he went into a chat room and had people sending him messages, he must have felt like such a big man if he had like, you know, talking to 5 chicks or something like that.
I think
he thought he really had it going.
His real life is lonely. That probably took care of that for him.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
It's he's very lonely,
I
and
think
that's why he has the TV on all the time.
Yeah, that's sad too. Although the Old Spice whistles really.
Three's Company.
But if you it's no big loss to Lorne to be off the internet. It really isn't. Other than to be a predator. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's the only thing he's prevented from, because like you said, he's not using it for anything else. He's not banking on it. He's not shopping on it.
No.
He's not looking at news articles. He's not even looking at porn.
No, he can't.
You know, so yeah, it's passed him by. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, if he was able to have free reign right now with the free porn, oh my God.
Does he watch porn though? I don't think he's into porn though, right?
No, he says he doesn't.
He's jealous of the penises in the porn.
Well, that might be actually another thing. Maybe he doesn't want to see that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to see the guy and the girl. He would be okay if there were two women.
Two females.
Fine.
Well, you're right. He could be looking at something that, you know, he wish he could do, like eating ice cream in front of a diabetic, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think Lorne really heavily romanticizes sex. That
right.
Sex, you know, sex is love and blah blah blah, and porn is just people fucking. So for him, I don't think there would be. Besides Lorne, and according to his Lorneographer, his lie detector tests, he talks about how he fantasizes about old girlfriends and stuff, which you know, yeah.
Yeah, well, he actually, there's one thing he said to Tiffany when he said, I fantasize about just doing things with you. You know, I said this to you before. Just doing, you know, going out to eat, things like that. It's like, that's, you know, that's his idea, I guess. But CTPS, did he ever look for a job online?
Sharon did that for him.
Right.
I am sick, Omega. But Sharon won't be around. Sharon was moving states last.
I heard that.
Yeah, I don't really want to say which state.
No, but there's 2 Sharons, right? 2 Aunt Sharons.
We're talking about Aunt Sharon, the sister,
the one who helps him.
Gwen. Yeah, there's Aunt Sharon who is with her Uncle Clayton, and then there's Aunt Sharon who is Mama Gwen's sister or sister-in-law.
Right.
Yeah.
Who gives, I think, sister-in-law, who gives, Clayt is apparently, from what I gather, is Mama Gwen's blood brother.
Correct.
And he's married to Sharon. Is that the one, is that the Sharon that does all of Lorne's work?
No, that's not that Sharon, no.
So she's the one who's staying, but the one who helps him is going?
Yeah, the one who helps him is going. She's moving to be closer to her kids, I think. She's building, I think.
I'm pumping my fist. Yes.
So he's not going to have Sharon. Oh, yeah, Sharon who has to help him get splinters out. Remember that, Tiff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maine splinters are bigger than California splinters.
I know, like, that makes any sense.
That's an
It's so
actual
silly.
quote, because he was being made fun of for having to get his aunt to take his splinter out.
Yeah, he drove
He
over
got
there.
very offended. Yeah.
So who's he going to rely on when Sharon's gone?
Nobody.
Well, that could be something that he could argue for his computer back. Now that Sharon can't go online and do his job applications for him, he may.
Oh yeah, that'll help. Yeah.
So that could help towards that. But yeah.
I don't know. But that is his. From what I gathered, that's one of his major support networks.
Oh yeah,
she makes some
Sharon.
pies.
Sharon.
Nobody makes me pies.
All kinds of stuff.
I want a blueberry pie.
Are you going to eat it all in
I
one
would
day?
not eat it all in one day because that's probably 90 grams of sugar easy.
Definitely.
But yeah, he would eat. Then that's the thing. That's a whole other discussion. His culinary habits. It's chicken nuggets, corn, pies, almost no vegetables. One night, when he lost power and he was cooking this most disgusting looking steak on his wood stove. It's just there's no vegetables.
Burger King is a big one for him.
I would even claim that the salad he makes is really of very little nutritional value because iceberg lettuce is just water. Yeah, you've got the cherry tomatoes. You've got the processed ham, which is full of salt. You've got the ranch, which is full of everything. What is ranch again? It's like buttermilk and mayo. Isn't that what it is made of? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. The only healthy thing in that salad to me is really the tomatoes.
Well, just look at his refrigerator. We've seen shots of that, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's got like casserole dishes that are half, covered up. He's got Chinese food carton in there.
It's all processed. Yeah.
And he eats most of the stuff he eats is actually everything he eats is processed. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, this is a man who I love chicken nuggets. I mean, I'm not saying you can't love chicken nuggets, but Lorne eats far too many chicken nuggets for an adult male, and it's just. Do you know what I mean? Like, occasionally I'll be like, okay, let's go to Macca's and we'll get a 10-piece. Okay.
Right.
But that's not my main diet. I don't eat chicken nuggets every week.
No, it's like a cheat. Yeah. From eating good food. What kind of things did Aunt Sharon do for him that he's going to be missing?
Splinter removal. Give him money.
Money? She gave him money?
She took. Yeah, they give him money. She took over the land payments to Clay, even though it's technically in her name. She took over land payments for Lorne while he was away, so he had to pay her back. So she's been a support in that way. Macca's, Operation Lull, yes. Apply for jobs for him. He's going to have to rely on Gwen, and Gwen is more focused on Roy, essentially. I mean, I've told you guys about the ham bone incident and how disgustingly selfish Lorne is for that. Remember that, Tiff? Do you remember?
The ham bone sounds familiar.
I thought that was in his bed or something.
No, so there was an incident, I think it was Christmas, or it was something near the end of the trial. So obviously Lorne and Roy are all at Mama Gwen's. Lorne asks for the ham bone. And Gwen says, no, I'm going to make split pea soup for Roy with it. And Lorne lost his fucking mind. He was so angry that she wouldn't give him the ham bone for his dogs and that she would waste her time making split pea soup for Roy. It's like when the ham saga happened and he was bitching about how he had to eat peanut butter sandwiches while Mama Gwen was making Roy all this food, but Roy's the reason he didn't have his ham. Yeah, Roy really does love his mother. He does a lot more for Gwen than Lorne ever did, and that's the thing.
Loves his brother too.
Yeah, Roy would tell Lorne. People were trying to get Lorne's number from Roy. They were harassing Roy essentially, and Roy would just say to Lorne, "I will never betray you. I will never give them your number." Roy loves his younger brother. He absolutely does. I think Roy. Yeah, I will give Roy a lot of credit. I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know he's an alcoholic and everything, but he at least loves his brother. Lorne would have thrown Roy under the bus 1,000 times. Lorne would have thrown him under the bus.
Make himself look good. And that includes in front of his mother. It sounded to me like all the times that he would talk to his mother about Roy being drunk, he was gloating about it. You know,
Oh
especially
yeah,
that one
No,
where
he
they were
didn't. Pepper
going,
Stokes.
crazy and fighting, and you're not 10, rah, and all that shit.
Yeah.
right.
I guess when Lorne called his mother first accused him of being, and I guess he was though. I believe he was at that point, but he convinced her he wasn't, and then
Mm-hmm.
made the distinction that how drunk Roy was, and how and the other thing is he seems to have a big problem with Roy being over his mother's house. Seems to.
He doesn't want Roy
I
to
don't
have
know
the
if that's true.
attention.
Yeah. Well, Lorne can't. I believe that my theory about Lorne getting the property and all this other stuff over Roy is because they had no place to put him.
Yeah,
He
definitely.
couldn't live with his mother,
No.
and I bet you, I'll bet you he would have loved to.
Yes.
Taken care of and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got Section 8, so
Mm-hmm.
no felons under the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But it must drive him. It must make him so jealous because we know sometimes Lauren can be jealous that Roy is over there and getting her attention. And then she says things like, "I got a real man here" and shit like that.
Yeah. She cooks for him. Lauren
Does his
doesn't
laundry.
get that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Lorne did
so-
throw Roy under the bus, but he was also encouraged to call. So, I mean, I don't know if Lorne would have necessarily called otherwise, based on my
I don't think he would.
recollection. Because
the reason why.
Yeah, Lorne was framed. You'll be the
Probation.
hero. You'll be the hero, Lorne. Look at you saving all the people on the road.
Well, and the thing is that he portrayed himself as the hero as well.
He did.
He announced to his entire family that he was the one that called because, perhaps they would have said, wow, it's really good, that he got arrested because he really could have hurt someone. And, well, that was me. I called him.
Wait a minute. He told his family he was bragging about it?
Yep.
How did they
Yeah.
react?
Yeah.
I don't know really how they
He
reacted.
said Sharon was very proud of him. Aunt Sharon
Yeah.
was very proud of me.
Right. He's only going to tell what the good.
And he does the same
the
thing
good
that
stories.
night after coming from Elton's.
Oh, absolutely. And he will rage at the thought of somebody calling the cops. You better not call the cops on me.
Or I'm going to go hide in the woods.
Yeah, go hide in the woods, Lorne. I hope it's in the middle of winter.
Yeah, mentioned this the other day. It's funny how he hid in the woods during that time and left his dogs in the trailer. For all he knew, there was going to be people coming up to firebomb his trailer, and
He's
let the dogs to fend for themselves.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is very defensive about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves so much for someone else to be the mess of the family.
Yeah.
So when Roy is drunk and he's, making just everybody annoyed with the stuff that he does when that happens, and he's not dependable, he's not working, Lorne is like a little chatty Cathy with his family. He loves to sit over there with his mom, and if his aunts are over there and his uncle talking about how much Roy is screwing up, he fucking loves it. He's going to be chiming in and talking about how it's so sad. I do so much for him. I've offered him to stay at my place all the time. I fix up a metal container for him to sleep in.
Yeah.
And all of that. He had
a 102-degree fever or something, right?
Yeah. And he's so proud of himself for what he does. But as soon as the tables turn and all of a sudden the fingers are pointing back at Lorne, he is such a baby.
It's child, yeah, definitely.
I don't do anything right. But the other thing is, if you remember the prison letters also, he had these little subtle digs at Roy too. Like the prison food. Here's what I had for I love those letters. This is what I had for lunch: a bologna sandwich with cheese, with a cake, and something that a coleslaw that I don't even think Roy would have eaten.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Roy to him in that situation? Somebody less than him? You are in prison for being a pedophile. Or for being a child predator. You know that. There's nothing lower than that, right? And I think Mama Gwen and everybody knows that too, recognizes that.
They do know
Roy,
that.
Roy can't be nearly as bad as Lorne.
No,
And that's why
he
he gets
never
more
will
help.
be.
And that's why Gwen looks after him a lot more.
Yeah, Roy entertains me in his own way. Yeah, he's drunk, and that's kind of funny too. But just the things he says, you okay, Frank? You okay?
I call him Frank. Yeah,
you
that's
okay?
funny.
We're getting pizza. We're getting pizza. I
That's
fucking
pretty
love
good.
him.
Yeah.
Roy's
And one time
adorable.
I was in the gym, and I have a playlist, and somehow Roy's song got on my playlist. You know that song I'm talking about, where she's walking around?
Loving can hurt.
Yes.
Loving can
That one.
hurt sometimes.
Who the fuck is this?
I love that.
He has a much better voice than Lorne too, I think.
Oh, he
It's
does.
not great.
And
It's much softer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd let Roy serenade me. If you watch when you get a chance, and watch the Lorne gives Jamie a trailer tour on my channel. Roy's funny as hell. He's funny as hell.
Oh yeah.
He's a bald-headed white boy.
He had his girl there, right?
Yes, he did. We altered her voice and stuff like that. So she didn't ask me.
Like
Yeah.
I wonder what her face was like when she was what is this for?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's for my online girlfriend.
stripping.
Show her your bedroom. Yeah, I know.
Oh, Jesus.
You know she
Could
had
you
a
imagine?
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, could you just imagine though that, Roy starts taking this video and Lorne just starts taking off his clothes? I would be terrified. Like, oh my God, what
She
is he gonna
clearly
do?
reacted when he took off his shirt and then he did the unzipping of the pants, looking directly at Lisa. His effusive, just kidding, tells me that her expression was thunder, or she turned away, or her reaction would have been quite powerful for him to have reacted, just kidding.
Well, I think
and Roy was like, no, Roy was not happy.
Yeah, but he also, I think he thinks like, oh, they're disappointed now. It was just a joke. They wanted to see it. It's almost that.
I think that he thinks he's better looking than Roy.
Oh.
Like he's the catch. So he was almost showing off in front of her.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think if he had an opportunity, he would definitely try to take Roy's girl, whoever that is, if there was an opportunity for that.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, he would.
One for Roy, two for Lorne. If you had to, who would you? It's an easy one, but still.
Oh my God.
Well, just scrub him
Roy
down.
after a shower.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he may. Right, we have to have some requirements for this. He has to shower.
Mm-hmm.
He can't have any shitty pants sitting somewhere like in his van for several days.
Even those long short things, those shorts.
Yeah.
See, everyone's just one.
Everyone's one.
Roy, we love you. We love you, Roy.
He definitely would get laid even by the guys. Mike Scott wants to be a bottom.
Bottom.
The mustache. Oof. I feel you, Notorious Armstrong. Yeah, and the way that Lorne treats Roy is almost is very childlike too. There was an event last, I don't remember exactly when it was. It was in the later part of the trial, where Roy was living in Lorne's shipping container for a little bit, and Lorne just goes out there and starts hammering him about how he stinks, about how he needs to stop living in the past of his ex-wives. Mm-hmm. All this just. I was so angry, Tiff. I don't know if you remember how angry. You know what I'm like when I get wound up, but I was very, very upset. Just
a lot of caps.
A lot of caps.
Lock is.
It was just rampant. This is the worst thing you can say to someone who's an alcoholic, depressive person. All you're doing right now is reiterating every bad thing that Roy thinks about himself by telling him he stinks and he's worthless. And and we made Lorne go back out there and tell his brother that he loved him. You were going to go out there and say something nice to him. Tell him you love him.
He gets back once in a while, though. When he does, it's really, it may not be effective for Lorne, but it's really good.
Oh yeah,
it is really good. Yeah,
but he doesn't do it very often. Like that time that, remember that one where he's leaning on the horn or something out in the driveway?
when he passed out on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the poor guy. Just fucking put him on your couch or something and put a blanket on him. He's got to sit there and scream at this guy. Can you imagine from Roy's perspective? You're in a drunk stupor and you're waking up and your brother's screaming at you?
Well, the brother who is also highly intoxicated, screaming at you for being drunk.
Right. Right. I'm thinking, leave him alone. I mean, that's probably your best bet if you really want him to be destructive. Why wake him up?
He wanted him out of the car. He had to, because he couldn't have Roy wake up and drive and possibly come back to the house with, Roy wasn't allowed to drink on Lorne's property. So he had to get him out of the car, but he didn't have to give him all that bullshit. Yeah.
That is funny. And then he starts telling Uncle Clay and everybody else where Roy hides his beers. It's like, it's like personal knowledge. It's like he's describing what he would do. Think like an alcoholic. Oh, I am an alcoholic.
Yeah. No, he talks down to Roy, which is unbelievable. Even this past year was not good for Roy.
No.
He was a mess, a big time mess. Yeah. But he still had a woman.
Right.
Yep.
He still
had jobs.
And he had jobs, here and there, but he had a woman. And Lorne can't get that. And I know you guys were talking about the woman who came over that was hanging out with
Do you
Roy.
remember that better than me? Please do tell.
I don't know if I remember it better than you, but I think the thing that really, really caught me was her comment when she was leaving. And he was so mad that she would insinuate that he was following her around. And that was not something that is so unbelievable that I would say, oh, no, that's not true. She was just making that up. It sounds completely believable.
His reaction proved it to me. Because if someone said, wine lover, you're stalking me online, and I'm not. Tiffany, I don't stalk you anymore. But, if you say that to me, you're stalking me online, wine lover. If I'm not doing it, I'd be like, I didn't, but okay. I would laugh about it.
You would just be like, well, why do you think that?
Why
do you think that? He got very angry and very defensive. And it's like, offended. I could see her being out doing her thing, which is what we presumed, as perhaps she was a lady of the night, hanging around. And he was one of the guys that would drive by again and again, checking her out. He's not going to buy.
How would you find her? But if she's on the street corner or something like that, what a creepazoid. Would he follow her with her John? No,
I don't think so. But I think that if she was out and about and she was, waiting for someone, and she's going to notice that. Because she's going to notice the guys, because that's how you're going to make some kind of a connection to get the guy to come over, right? You're going to notice, this person.
You're on your guard too.
Well, that is true, waiting for the cops. But yeah, I mean, so it's not completely unbelievable to me that he'd be driving around staring at her, and then go back around the corner and come back again. That sounds completely realistic to me. And for her to make that comment as she's leaving, it's so out there that I feel like it's got to be true. There's some truthness to that, And
the fact he didn't call, he was supposed to call Jamie when she was arriving so that she could hear everything. He didn't want Jamie on the phone for that.
He did not want Jamie on the phone. And the way he described her too, she was wearing heels. She was wearing a short skirt, right? And I think this was a younger woman in her 20s.
Yeah.
The fact that she would rather live in her truck than in his place is pretty telling. Because I think that she would have started there. Say in the perfect world, she actually agreed to do it. She would have been out there, but eventually she would have moved into the house. And the thing is like, they would have had to use the bathroom in there. There was no bathroom out there. They would have had to use the kitchen in there.
Yep.
So, What is that?
I was wondering about that. What would she do for facilities? Have to go into
Yeah.
his master
She'd
bathroom?
have to go inside, or she'd have to go in the woods or something.
That's his opportunity to pounce.
Yeah. Oh, he by accident would be naked.
Oh,
Wait,
sorry.
he's naked
Didn't know you were coming
without
in.
the covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen this before all the time,
Exactly.
right? You got a mud
Exactly.
hole, so look
Mud
what I
hole.
got going on.
Exactly. Oh,
Absolutely.
Erido, I don't know what you didn't hear.
I think probably the sex worker story. I don't know.
Oh yeah, how she was going to live in his container, and yeah, I think it's so odd that he didn't call, and he said something like, "Oh, I couldn't," or "It wouldn't connect." He always has some kind of an excuse why his phone fails him at the perfect opportunity when he's not going to want somebody to hear something.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there was a time when he was supposed to call Tony, and just all of a sudden couldn't make it on three-way. Just
Yep.
couldn't make it happen.
They cancel his date.
No, it wasn't that. It was supposed to call Tony for something. I don't remember what it was, but he wasn't able to. Or with his mom, of course he doesn't want his mom to be on a call. Of course he doesn't. But he'll say that, "Oh, it's okay. Yeah, sure, no problem." And then all of a sudden he'll come back, or he'll call back later and say, "Oh, yeah, we were disconnected. That was weird. I saw your name there. I thought you were there the whole time."
Yes, you're
He's
right.
lying. He's definitely lying.
Such a liar. He's so bad at it.
Yeah, he's really bad at it. And I think that after a while, you just get to know his tells. They're so obvious. He's got his guilty laugh that he does.
Oh yeah.
He has
Mhm.
the pauses that he does. He'll say,
Mhm.
"Really?" Because he's thinking about what he's going to say, but he doesn't have anything yet.
The big one where you can pick up these tells is Ramona's call to him talking about Michelle Simpson. We all know, what happened, but
Oh, yeah.
and he's just bald-faced lying, and so you can
Mhm.
pick up all the tells from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And
His big thing is, I didn't tell you yet, or
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say that.
or the opposite. The opposite. You already knew that.
Right.
Those are two. Yeah.
Right, I already knew that. I thought that was crazy too when he said, "I wasn't ready to tell you."
Yeah. So I'll lie to you in the meantime.
Right, exactly. And then I'll be honest.
Mm.
But the best one, of course, is, "Yep, I'm lying to you and I'm being honest about it."
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is that?
That belongs on a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a great t-shirt. I would definitely wear that.
Well,
So-
guys, we've got two of our great trolls here. Anybody got questions for these guys? This is,
I'm not a
I'm
troll.
finding out shit right now myself. This is pretty fun.
I'm not a troll.
You have to work on this. Does Lorne have a car now? Does he have any vehicle? Anybody know?
He does. He purchased a truck with his tax return.
Right, but didn't he buy it with a bent frame or a broken frame?
There was a lot of stuff that needed to
You
be worked on.
couldn't get it inspected or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he
But
couldn't.
I'm asking that because number one, he's not on the internet anymore. Number two, if he doesn't have transportation, he's kind of in prison now at 388 Westridge Road, which is the way I like it.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, Egbert, I would love to catfish Lorne.
You could. Let's hear your catfish voice.
I'm shy.
Oh,
Yeah. I can only do Roy. I can't.
you can sound like a woman, can't you?
I think the best Lorne impersonations are the women who do it, especially yours. Really.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Really?
No,
And-
you.
Yeah.
And Wine Lover does it too.
She does a good one. Amanda James does a good one too.
Oh man, James is great.
Whenever she pulls that one out, that's always good. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't sound like anybody else.
You don't really have to sound exactly like him. You just have to his little nuances, his little.
Just, yeah. I know I talk
Just
like him
vocabulary.
sometimes. If I'm talking to you guys or something, the weren't and the wasn't stuff will definitely happen, and that's always fun.
Oh, that's right. I can be a robot. I don't need to use my voice.
Yeah, well, COVID was really rough. A lot of people obviously got sick, so Jamie cannot be the only one who lost her voice.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great if it was the same robot, though? But no, it's not. It's not Jamie. Who's Jamie? Just a different.
Why is it a male voice? Why that decision? Anybody know?
Because that is what he could understand. He couldn't understand the female robot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That just worked out. That's great.
It just ended up. He actually requested it.
Just added another little layer. I like that.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Jirai, do you remember where that document is? I just remember Jirai and I and Joey looked at an invoice that Lorne had with the inspection. Remember that, Tiff? When he got the truck inspected and there was like 50 things wrong, like the emergency brake. Mm-hmm. I don't have it handy, but that's actually a good idea for something for a video.
He's a
hero. He believed it was fine because the driver was an older gentleman and it was a steal. Right. He drove an hour. He also had Uncle Clay have to drive all the way with his car trailer, and then with the car trailer's tire blew, and of course Uncle Clay's the one who had to put it on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like Lorne is like improving the economy all by himself up there. He's buying trucks that are totaled from people who can't wait to unload them. Mm-hmm. He's buying beanies from people who can't wait to unload them.
Yeah.
He's like the perfect clearinghouse for people to liquidate their shit.
He's dumb enough to buy the stuff. He thinks he got a good deal. He just immediately assumes it, and it's like actually
he does.
He spent time-wise far more than what that truck's worth with the frame. He built like some random thing to put the frame on so he could weld, and at one point it fell off, and that was funny.
Yeah.
Because he slipped and hurt himself. The
frame was bent.
It was rusted. It was rusted.
It needed a straightener, one of those big hydraulic machines.
He needed to basically rebuild the entire frame, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, that was one of only 20 things wrong with the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was so much wrong with it. And he, when he got it, he thought he really got a steal here. It runs perfect. And then you just start hearing about all the problems.
I can imagine.
And it was a constant.
He just wanted a truck. I think that's what he really wanted. He just wanted a truck.
Yeah.
I think didn't he spend like his unemployment money or something, or whatever it was, what little he had left to buy that, and it was pretty expensive for what it was. He could have gotten just like a hatchback or something, or just a small economy car.
No, because he's got to do stuff. He needs to.
He needs the truck to move wood around his yard. That's what he said he was going to do with the truck. He was going to leave it as a yard truck to transport items around his yard. I'm not kidding. He was going to buy another car.
One junk pile to another. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't hold on to money. He cannot hold on to it.
Yeah.
He has to.
Oh, okay. I've got the list. I can't bring it up on the screen. The inspection sticker. Rear lights messed up. Emergency brake cable amp under left front door. Spared tire holder hanging. Right shock technically broken. Front cross member between control arms. I don't know what that means. Frame under right front door. Torsion bar cross member broken off. Right side. Fuel lines leaking. Back of frame gone. Thank you, Jirai. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a deal.
That is the deal.
That is a deal of a century, guys. I'm no mechanic, but I would know, I can tell right now a couple of those things are very expensive to fix. More than the car or the truck.
Yeah, that's why the guy was getting rid of it.
Exactly. He paid
It's
about, I think it
probably
was
on a
1,100.
front
I think it was 1,100 count.
I think it was actually 900, but his
Was
return
it?
was 1,100.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, that
The
makes
sign probably
sense.
said 900, and he paid whatever they're asking. It was probably on the guy's front lawn. And
It
Lorne
was.
drove by
That's
it.
why Lorne
That's
buys
how you find
everything.
stuff. He
Is
drives
off his,
around.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He met in negotiation. How much you want for this? $900. How about 1,000? You got it.
Right, exactly.
Oh, great. So we've got some car people here who know that it was a complete
the front
waste of
end's all
money.
fucked up. That I do know.
Back of frame gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fuel line's not that big of a deal. I guess the emergency brake line, I think it was another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
there's a lot
fixed
of
that
work.
one himself. He fixed that one himself, I think. So hopefully,
He did the lights too.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
The rear lights. Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, that
Kiwi.
would be something if someone was interested in doing something like that, if they like to rebuild things and,
Yeah.
and they know what they're getting into, to say, oh yeah, this is a decent price for what I'm getting. But Lorne just is, basically he'll say, oh yeah, it runs great. It's perfect. And then
Even if you had a garage to work on that thing with, it's just too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And by the way, most of those things would prevent it from getting inspected, like the emergency brake, the leaking fuel line, the front end, the rocker arms, all that stuff. All that stuff would prevent it from getting inspected. So he'd be forced into a situation where he has to drive it illegally.
Oh yeah, sure did.
Boy, he makes great decisions.
He makes the best decisions. They're so great. Yeah.
So,
He's not a carpenter or a mechanic. He basically sucks at everything.
he does.
He's not even good at driving truck because he gets in trouble.
He can't even.
He-
And no
he
one
hits
hired
things.
him.
No
He
one
hits guardrails.
hired him.
He hits
guardrails. He
zooms past
speeds. Yep.
school buses.
Yep. And in their parking lot.
Mm.
He gets in trouble. He just gets demoted.
That is, I think, if I was Lorne, that's what I would be the most bitter about, losing that job.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
That was a good job. He got to
It
call
was a
his
great
hours.
job.
He made some
Yeah.
decent money.
And it was local. And, obviously finding a truck driving job, especially in the New England area, it's going to make sense that you're going to have to go to New Hampshire, Massachusetts. So right there, and just to have it be that, you got to stay in Maine, that's going to limit him so much. And for him to fuck that up,
Hilarious.
it's really amazing that he allowed that to happen. It really is.
It was the corrupt government that interfered.
I
Corrupt
know.
government.
His rationale behind why he lost it is like, well, they knew they didn't have to give me that much time because they knew I was going to lose everything.
I think they
Why
would have
is
fired
that
him
in
anyway.
his fault?
But
They very well may have.
Well, not that. Again, not for the other reasons that they had, but also the fact that he got violated, and then say he didn't do any jail time. Say they give him time served for whatever he was in there for, and he was able to go right back to work. The owner or manager, or whoever it was, he was talking to on the phone in the jail, was only interested in whether it was alcohol related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I needed
It
to
was
know.
almost like,
That's all I
yeah, it
needed
was
to
almost
know.
like, that's exactly right. Right.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. So will you write me a letter now? Tell the judge.
I'm a great guy. I've never had any incident.
I think he really believed that his boss was going to do that for him.
Tiff,
Yeah.
do you want to tell the lovely people how many times Lorne applied for a job with R.C. Moore during the Jamie saga?
Oh, nice.
I believe that it is at least 2.
No,
could
it
be
was about
3.
5, sweetheart.
Was it?
Yes. He applied twice immediately when he got out, and then he applied at least 2 more times, and then right before the Jamie saga ended, I feel like Ron was giving him the runaround again. Because he was saying, oh, yeah, he called me and said that
Why
they
didn't he just say
needed me to put
no?
my application in again. I don't know. But he
You know?
I don't
definitely...
know, but it's funny.
Well, that's
Definitely
Lawrence
applied.
version too, by the way. Did the catfish ever hear the conversation between R.C. Warren?
No, but he would
No.
tell them, and it would always be, "Oh, I spoke to the receptionist, and she said
Yeah,
she got my
screen my calls.
application, but I had to send it again, or I had to fill out an." Yeah, it was just conversations that he just obviously. I don't think he understood. Like, if I applied for someplace once and they don't want to hire me, then I'm not. They lost their opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. They want to have this
Well,
working for
you know,
them. Yeah.
He put all his eggs in one basket.
He sat
He
around
really
for at
did.
least a month, and when he got out of prison, at least a
Right.
month, waiting for them to call him back. And
Yeah.
Jamie would say, "You
Right.
need to have a job. I'm not coming up there until you have a job." You know, and he would just get very defensive, and I was waiting for them to call me back. Like, Lorne, if they wanted you, they would have called you. And they kept advertising positions, which is also why he kept
Oh my
applying.
God! Really, he saw that?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kept advertising. We found them online. We found the ads online. Yeah,
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah. So he just kept
Oh,
applying.
and you told him? You told him they were hiring?
No, I think Aunt Sharon was finding them.
Oh,
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that's not reading the writing on the wall, I don't know what is.
Well, I
Jesus.
think what would end up happening is they would fill out some kind of a pre-application, and whoever was running the recruiting there at the time may not have known who he was. So they would have received his pre-application, and then, maybe would have said, "Oh, yeah, fill out an application
Where's
and
my
we'll get back
interview?"
to you." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lorne stalks jobs just like he does his girlfriends.
Yeah, I would imagine that the story is quite different from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is he repeatedly left messages.
Yes.
I think at some point when he thought, I think he may have, had some sense of reality and realized, I got to wait. And he probably didn't call him for a long time. And that's fine with him, because that means he has an excuse to sit on his ass.
Right. Yeah, he does. And he wants to drive truck. That is his career that he wants to do. He doesn't want to do other stuff.
Well, what happened to that video when he talked about how he got fired? It was a mutual thing, and it was good because he didn't want to drive truck anymore because it was hurting his body.
Right.
Not my body.
Right.
I'm fucking memorizing this shit.
Yeah.
But what happened to that? I mean, what would he do other? Oh, wait a minute. Didn't he go for his hazmat? I heard that in Reborn's Call.
Yeah, that was something that was specifically for a job.
Yeah.
But that was going to be, he was going to be driving truck for that too.
Yeah, we have hazmat. We hire hazmat guys here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really get involved with the application process and the licensing and all that stuff. But I think there might be a criminal court record, a criminal background check.
Yeah, I know he had to get permission from probation in order to do that, in order to apply. And they were behind him on it.
Right.
To be able to do that. And then what he says is he wasn't really able to follow through on that because of the COVID stuff happening.
Right.
So the motor vehicle was closed and everything. So he wasn't really able to follow through, but that just kind of went away. Every single job that he gets really excited about just miraculously goes away. No one
Like
calls
that,
him.
what was that? Nestle's or something?
Honestly, that was great. Oh my God.
Remember he was talking
was
about, he's tell Willy Wonka or whatever, hey, good you, and all that shit.
Right.
He was gloating about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was so
okay, holy
happy.
shit.
He was so excited for that. Yeah, when he got the hat and everything, he was so excited. But you know what's funny? What I noticed about the I Hate Making Videos video is that he's wearing a Chafee sweatshirt and an R.C. Moore hat.
Yes.
It's like the ultimate outfit of failure.
If
only he was wearing his prison Crocs. Because, guys, that's our cheap corners. He brought home his prison Crocs and his prison alarm clock.
And his hat.
Well,
and the white hat. Yeah.
Woman in a restaurant that might be interested. but what he doesn't I don't think he understands this yet, and I don't see how he could. When this unemployment runs out, and I don't know if they're going to extend it in Maine or not, but I know it's 24 weeks up there. I kind of looked at it. They also have the federal supplemental COVID, which is another $300, and a lot of states are turning that down, including mine right now.
Right.
But they end no matter what in September. So he's going to have no job, no source of income, unless he's working under the table. But the problem with that is that probation, as part of his condition, he needs to get a job or show efforts in trying to get a job. So he's going to run into problems with probation about that. And
he was.
Yeah, but
he
also
was running into problems.
Yep.
Yes. But the other thing is that he has pretty much burned every bridge up there.
Yeah.
Around him. In terms of trucking jobs, at least we know that. But other kinds of work, I think the only thing he can do is things that are under the table. But that's not going to be sufficient for probation. They're going to get on his ass. He's going to end up having to work in a, I don't think he can go to a McDonald's or a Circle K or anything like that because kids are there all the time. But
right.
He's going to have to find something, and soon. So his best days are ahead of him. That's basically what I'm saying.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just like Egbert said, he's going to make our bank accounts look like shit.
If I had the right job.
Yeah. If we get the right jobs. Yeah.
And I don't know, something about the state. The state has to be. God, it's so funny the way that shit just comes back.
I know.
Over and over and over. It's like Groundhog's Day with this guy.
Yeah, his life isn't going to get better until he does better. That's the end of the story.
What are the chances of his life getting better? I mean,
Zero.
how would his life get better? Meet somebody. That's about one way.
No, I'm talking about really and truly get better. Not what Lorne is going to think is better.
Here? Okay.
No fantasies here.
Okay.
He needs to get his shit together. He needs to get a job. He needs to save money. He needs to pay his responsibilities, like his mother. He owes her money. That is sick. That he's running around. He's been making all kinds of money on unemployment and getting the extra money for COVID. It's so sick that he owes her this money, and he has this attitude of like, well, no, she's not asking for it,
and she's gonna die.
I pay her back here or there.
Yeah,
that is what
it's my inheritance.
Really believe.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, I think that's the way he sees Betty too.
Mm-hmm.
Her ship has sailed. Mm-hmm. In his mind.
Oh yeah. She's not getting.
There was not even any point in us pushing for it. It was mentioned a few times, but. Talking to Lorne, well, Betty was paid back by the community, which is fantastic. And using Betty would, unfortunately, somebody did write him and tell him that. So don't know why you would do that, but whatever. Luckily, she's been paid back. We know Lorne's not ever going to do it, and it was fun to berate him.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that Betty was getting the money. I mean, obviously, it was nice that the community came together and made her whole again. But the fact that we were subtracting it from him, $20 is what
he was never going to pay it. It was not enforceable, I believe, due to the statute of limitations, something like that.
Right.
It was never going to happen outside of the community. So. Someone just said, what was it? Sorry, I thought I saw something I was going to comment on, and I can't see it anymore.
John.
I'm sorry.
Sign twirler. You could be a swine. Poop says Lorne could be a sign twirler.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God, that would be great.
That's perfect.
I could see Lorne getting a roommate for extra cash. Lorne was trying to charge Roy. How much was he trying to charge him a week, Tiff? It was quite high because I think we were all very pissed off at him. It was
a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot because he wanted him to essentially pay for the electricity. The entire electricity bill.
Roy would use barely any in that little shed because it had a wood stove.
Yeah.
No bathroom, no plumbing.
No.
Nice. And I think didn't Winnie spill the beans on Lorne's plan with leaving a voicemail for Roy to that effect? Like, it's one of those situations. I actually like these parts where Lorne and Winnie are listening to her voicemails to him. And one of them was, but this time they were listening to Roy's. And Roy, watch out! Lorne's going to try to rip you off and charge you $500. And Lorne's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I love those what the fuck moments. Yeah, I think it was 400. That does sound familiar. It was a lot. Yeah. It was definitely a lot. Something that you would never pay. You wouldn't pay anything, but
especially with no options.
Mm-hmm. And Roy doesn't have that kind of money.
No,
he's barely working.
Roy $100 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I love when he was arguing with you about that. He deserves it, Debbie. He works hard for me, Debbie. Whatever. It's not that much, Debbie.
Right.
He asked her for permission on all these things, like he's a child asking her mother.
Yeah, he does. He wants to be controlled in that way.
Yeah.
Because that to him is somebody caring about him if you're telling him what to do.
Yeah.
But only on his terms, which is funny. If it's going to get in the way of what he wants to do, then he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think he's going to see another prison stint, probably within the next 3 years.
I would agree with that.
And it's really funny. You read the prison journals and you realize he is so adaptable in whatever environment he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was so I don't want to say used to it, but he was comfortable in his prison environment. Like all of us would be like, get the fuck out of here! I can't keep this guy away from me. He's actually almost embracing it. Maybe that would help him with his book or something. But he's a chameleon. He can get along in any situation, any adverse situation. He can live under a bridge and make it sound like it's like it's an estate. But
he does do that. He likes to look at the bright side, I guess, or he likes to talk it up.
Yeah,
I should say. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, I guess I'm tapped out, you guys. I don't know what
it's been 3 hours.
Yeah, I need to have
Is
some
it really?
dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to have some lunch, guys. It's lunchtime for me.
So glad Tiffany joined us.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Tiff.
I was not expecting that. Just got done with the lull. So
no, it was fantastic timing.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I've put the document into the dump drive, which is in the description, guys. So if you want to look at it, awesome. Yes, we're finishing right as Wes appears. Perfect. All right, guys. I guess bye, sweethearts. Is that good?